I think it's up the media or the experts will write about the record. But internally, there's been a lot of growth when you talk about the younger players getting better. And then also just being able to, have another star here with Luka, and Luka getting, making that adjustment of playing with Kai. So there's a lot of positives.
All right.
He's talking about you there, the expert.
That's right, yeah.
I guess you're the basketball expert.
But he's just watching like me.
I mean, Blake, do you write about the Mavs for D Magazine?
Never. They wouldn't employ me.
They've never even called me. I would love that.
You would love that,
yeah.
would you?
But I am monomedia. You are multimedia.
That's true. Monomedia.
Happy Thursday, everybody. We're actually doing this on video today. The great Michael Copeland. Michael, I think on your last video,
Go.
you did not put Copeland Productions on the video anywhere. You're not. Oh, you did? Okay, I was scrolling through that. I could not see it. I couldn't find it. All right.
You need more exposure.
If you have a remote that needs videoed or a commercial,
your new calling,
or maybe an amateur putting something up on the amateur tab, you want to?
Oh yeah.
You and the girlfriend have thought, you know what? Let's do this. You want it to look good though. You don't want it to just be shot on a cell phone. You got Michael Copeland.
I feel like
and then she'll get all excited just looking at Michael Copeland.
That will help.
That's true.
That's half of what you're paying for.
Yeah, he's so hot.
But I don't you feel like kind of what you want it to look like is not that great?
Oh, you just want to just for yourself. Yeah.
Well, I just feel like when you click the AMI tab,
no one says AMI, but go ahead.
You're not looking for
I support it.
Like you want it to look amateur.
Yeah.
You kind of want it to look like, oh, maybe I could have done that.
Yeah, because yes, how many times have you clicked that and said, this isn't amateur?
This is amateur? What is this, Scorsese?
I've seen her 100 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's video switching,
Oh, Michael can do that. He can put the filter on it to make it look a little.
But at that point, it's no longer amateur.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it is when he's recording us because we don't pay him. So
I suppose it is still technically from the sports world considered amateur.
Yeah. So yeah, just don't pay him when you do the porn thing.
And you'll be fine.
Yeah, just tell him you will, and then you stiff him.
Yeah, as it were,
so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we are
fumble.
We are out on a 690 remote today. And we should talk to some of the guys who got us here. Because I think they said, they're like, I don't even care if you promote Qualis Roofing in Arlington. That's where the office is. We're in the great state of Arlington today.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at the skyline. You could see Reunion Tower.
Yep.
And
I still see some beer cans from the Rangers parade.
We're just down the street from Dallas Stadium where they will play soccer.
That's correct. Yeah, the World Cup.
But who would like to join us really quick to just give some pub?
Yeah, is Brian in there? There he is.
Okay. Is Brian the main man?
Brian's the man. Yeah.
Okay. How about
you're probably going to need that.
Headset,
yeah.
mic? Headset or mic?
No, just the mic.
Okay. He will not allow you to have a headset.
I just don't think you need it, Brian.
So we could play fart drops and you won't know.
Yeah, well, we're out to get you.
Brian, everybody. It's Brian joining us from Brian Qualis. Is your last name Qualis?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Brian Evans.
Brian Evans.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out today, guys.
Subscriber,
day one. I don't know my number, but I'm a day one.
Okay, I have an email request that is asking, can you tell how many day oneers there are?
Yeah.
Like how many actually just – because
He
people will
doesn't
say
seem
on
fired
day
up about
one
that.
and then
That just – okay. Yes.
like did we have 2,200? Did we have, over 1,000? Whatever.
I'll go through the spreadsheet and I'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah, you have the real data now.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
The analytics,
The analytics.
if
Yeah.
you will. How is
So-
it possible that like every single person that has us out just appears health-wise to be doing so much better than people does?
Because they work for themselves.
Yeah, people
they're doing well.
People come out to. I was under the impression that's what happens whenever you work for yourself. Is you're like, oh, more time. I can be a little bit healthier.
Yeah, when's that going to happen, Brian?
Yeah.
You guys look great.
Yeah, but everybody that we had, Warren yesterday or
Oh, my God.
whenever
Yeah.
you hear it, Tuesday, and then this guy.
You got a mushroom sandwich coming.
Yes, thank
That's
you.
going to get you in tip-top shape.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm built partly on that, partly on Eatsies, partly on, pizza. Friday, we'll get Friday pizza. But so you had all these great ideas. They actually sell generators.
We do, in fact.
Whole home?
Whole home or part home.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's right.
And so what are your bits? Because Blake was throwing around like you were going to buy a 690 sit-in for someone, or you're going to buy a subscription for someone, or...
Yeah, we didn't want to overcomplicate it, so we could do a few things. If you're an existing subscriber, because what do you have now? 6,000 plus? Something like that?
I mean, who's counting?
Who's counting?
Yeah, let's
Who's
call it
counting?
that.
Who's ever measuring that weekly?
But you could also be watching this one on YouTube, and you might not even be a subscriber.
For free.
Yeah.
So for existing subscribers, if they get a roof inspection or they get a generator quote from us, we'll send them a shirt, bring a Dumb Zone t-shirt to them.
So just to get a quote, just to
get a
have
quote.
you out to the house and take a look at what's going on here.
Free quote.
All right?
No risk.
No risk.
All upside.
Yeah. For new subscribers, if you do the same thing, get a quote for a generator, get your roof inspected, we'll buy you a full year subscription to the Dumb Zone.
Dang.
Unbelievable.
Full year.
Full year.
Unbelievable. Just to have your home looked at
Yeah.
by these professionals.
That's right.
They're doing you a favor
So
twice.
you don't have to pull the trigger, you're saying?
No.
You don't have to.
No.
Okay, wow.
And we got office in here where you're at today. The great circus town of Arlington.
Okay.
We got an office in Dallas, Plano, and Keller. And Aledo, actually.
So you are not a...
Bearcats.
when there's a hailstorm,
layup.
all of a sudden you create a business, you go out, you get a bunch of people's
Knock
money.
on
and then
doors.
Then
Yeah.
you...
There's a fair amount of that.
I was just going to say, though, some of those are scammy, right? You
Oh, yeah.
got to worry. Are you actually in business? Do you have a brick and mortar location, which you do,
We do. Yeah.
or many?
We do have
5.
you squeezed into a tiny office here, though. So sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I love it. We would like to have a studio like this.
Yeah, can we come here
Perhaps
every day?
Yeah, maybe we can talk.
I mean, yeah, let's do it.
I enjoy your bathroom, which has a fridge in it.
that threw me.
Interesting.
That's kind of the partner fridge. So
Okay.
that's just our drinks in there, yeah.
Okay,
Or
the
your
partner.
drinks.
So you're a partner.
Yeah, so myself, Kelly Foster, and Chris Chambers own Qualis.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Started about 4 years ago.
Is there a lot of internal strife? Is there problems?
Lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have our own lawyer podcast.
Got yourself an LLC?
So, yeah, we got an LLC.
Got a CPA?
Bonafide, yeah.
I was doing a little business talk,
Yeah,
bro.
that's
yeah,
right.
no.
We have QBRs.
You threw out
You paying,
As
brick and mortar a minute ago.
you paying quarterly taxes, bro?
Yeah, quarterly taxes. We have our
It's like something I
QBR.
learned
QBR,
like
the
last week.
MBR.
Quarterly business review?
Yeah, we do
All right.
QBRs. We do MBRs. I got a kick out of your episode earlier this week on
Thank
that.
you.
DBR, HBR,
Yeah.
Daily?
daily, hourly.
Hourly?
Hourly?
Jeez.
Yeah, you got to measure things.
minutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so cool. So how do people get a hold of you,
Appointments.
partner Brian?
Yeah. Appointments at Qualis GC. That's QUALISGC.com. Just mention Dumb Zone. Or you can call us 817-500-9008.
Okay.
That's a good number.
Yeah.
9008.
We wanted more zeros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
And we don't have to repeat those things because you could just rewind. Hit that
Correct.
15-second
Yeah.
thing. Smash that like button.
Yeah.
5
Like and
stars.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Any opinions on what's happened so far? We haven't been here that long, or I guess we could just do that in final remarks, right?
Yeah.
Closing remarks.
Yeah, you'll have to come back at the end of the show.
Okay, love to.
Will you do that? How much ink you got? You seem to have some tattoos on you.
Just two. I'm
Okay.
I'm dabbling in it.
Is this a bear trap?
No.
Yeah, you should.
No bear trap.
This is,
You guys should stop
my-
asking people about their tattoos.
I don't.
My late
if you've
wife.
noticed.
Who,
The A is for my daughter Anna,
okay.
and she used to always draw that on my hands.
But she's like good. Everything's
Still
fine
alive?
with her.
yeah,
That's great.
she's a junior in high
That is
school
awesome.
Yes.
and thriving.
Excellent.
Yes. Yeah. She's all good.
All right.
And then I got the cross. Yeah,
And then you got the cross.
that's right.
What
All
happened to him?
Yeah, that's not going that well, is it?
He came back.
Well, thanks for having us out, man. Oh, this should be a good time too. We now have business people helping us.
Yeah. Sales.
Commerce, sales. We do need to cut off the. We're never going to cut off the 690 sit-in and the 690 you want us out for your husband's birthday or your wife's whatever. Like, I don't think we're going to cut that off ever for the people, especially the people that like jumped in early and supported us, and whether it's day one or day whatever.
Lay people.
But I think as businesses go, for businesses, let's say like Qualis Roofing, I think we're going to have to cut that off, and it might be cut off while I'm in France.
Okay.
Do you guys? We've had our business
think-
people talking to us like, look, 690. It's way too low. We got to build in something to pay Michael if he's going to come out here. We got all this kind of stuff. But
I would say that our business people have been scolding us about the 690.
right, they wanted us to cut it off like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We keep
Correct.
forgetting, and now that
Yeah.
we're going to have a nice break, maybe that's the opportune time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt low to us. So that's why
wow,
we.
that's every
That's not what we want to
every
hear.
business person has told me that.
But that's why we threw in the incentive stuff too. We wanted to try to drive more subbies. So
Yeah, you said like your goal is
Yes.
to get us 100 subscriptions,
yes,
new subscriptions.
that's right.
Like
And,
in how
and sandwiches.
and
Yeah, and sandwiches.
Yeah.
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 So that helps too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
were locked in
Yeah,
at this
we're
rate.
locked in.
That is
That's
correct.
right. You're
Yeah.
grandfathered in.
So people have 2 more days to get in for the 690 remote. I guess businesses.
Yeah, maybe even throughout next week. I don't know.
I
trying
would
to
say
be cool.
more
Now we're
like
just
2
kicking
more
the
days.
can down the road.
Okay.
2 more days?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That's what it's got to be.
Did you want to ask him about the generator for the den? Or is that an off-air kind of conversation?
Yeah. You want to? You said you're able. So are you able to hook up a generator that only?
Here's what I heard. If you have him out right now,
That's right.
Well, I get a Dumb Zone T-shirt.
free shirt.
Free
Okay.
shirts.
Okay, I would like
Yeah,
one.
you got a Twitch shirt
Raymond
on.
won't give
You
me
need
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Done.
But you can actually just hook up a generator that will only power above my garage,
Absolutely.
because that's all we really need. That's all I really need.
Yeah.
Because the wife loves making fires and, pouring. Back in the big freeze of a couple years ago when I was at Cash Soroy's house, I just had she would show me videos of they were scooping snow off the ground and then going inside and pouring it in the toilet so that the toilet would have, because the water wasn't where I don't know. It
And
was
she
all
loved
messed up.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, she's like a frontierswoman. woman.
Sounds like
Pioneer?
Yeah, a pioneer woman. Yeah, frontiersman. Whatever.
Either way.
Yeah, we
All
can
right.
do a small house, the Dragon Den. We can do. We're doing. We have some customers that have like a $2 million wine fridge. And they wanted
Wow.
to make sure that they did not lose power.
No matter what.
Wine fridge, yeah. Fish tanks. We see wild stuff.
Do you have too much money if you have a $2 million wine fridge?
I mean, probably, but I do actually recall a time my dad used to have like a decent sized aquarium, and their power went out whenever they were out of town, and exactly what you think happened.
They just all die.
They just all die. And so, like, that is definitely a scenario where people will put in a generator to be like, all right, well, isn't it worth the price of the ROI for
your
sure?
fish investment.
Yeah, because I mean, there was a ton of money in there, not even just for the fish, but for the like, I don't know if you'd call it vegetation.
Did you love the freeze?
You
What
know,
it did
we
for
didn't
biz?
we didn't have generators back then, so we were just roofing and construction. Yeah, we did a lot of business.
So you love a hailstorm.
We love a hailstorm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's good for business.
Kind of had one yesterday, didn't we?
Because you get like, oh, I learned another business thing. Because you're going to get, you can get insurance money.
Yeah.
And that's a lot easier. That's a lot of people are waiting for a hailstorm. Man, my roof is horrible.
To get the roof fixed.
I can't wait till there's a hail. Yeah, you can't get it fixed just yet. So I learned this because we're talking about like insurance. I was talking to a guy about if we become like what we want to become, can we like offer people insurance? And there was a guy telling me how, well, no, I pay through this. There was a Christian something ministry insurance, and then there was another one that was very similar to that. They said, and what you do is you pay, and then you kind of invoice them, and they'll pay you back. And he goes, you won't believe if you go to the doctor and say I'm paying in cash, the difference in price. So if something's going to cost $400 or whatever, they'll just charge you $100 because they think, oh, this person does not have insurance. So like, it's all a big scam. Like, oh, you have insurance? Cool. Now we'll charge $400.
Yeah.
Like, this seems really messed up. Do you know about this?
Feels like a giant scam.
Okay, you're
Certainly on the medical side.
There was a time for sure when I did have insurance. I still do through my wife, but I would ask them to show me an itemized receipt for if I didn't have insurance, and like it would be,
half the price, if not more.
price. Yeah, it was very clear what was happening.
It seems very messed up.
Yeah.
That it's all like, also, because, now I have insurance through my wife, but like your insurance is kind of based on having a job?
Yeah, and based on your income. But, anyways. Let's talk Cowboys.
That's a little business talk. Well, thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
And we look forward to your closing remarks.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Thanks,
You
guys.
have time. You have time to get it ready.
So what do you want to do first?
Let's see.
Cowboy
what
fun?
do we want to do first?
Listener birthdays?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's do that. That
Okay.
seems fun.
That's,
It's a
I
nice
don't know
flow.
if it's that fun.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hey, everybody. It's time to answer some of today's viewer mail.
Wow.
My wife, Melissa Miasso, is 40.
That is an irrationally hot name.
Melissa Miasso?
Yeah. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're spot on.
Are you rolling her out because she's 40? Or is that
Oh my
like
God, that's in
sweet
his
spot?
wheelhouse.
Are you saying that's too young?
He says, David, but enough about her. I won the 2020 push-up contest at Ticket Stock, so they gave me tickets to a Mavs game, which was canceled by COVID. If y'all plan on having a push-up contest at the Den, let me know. It'd be great for ratings.
Well,
The winner gets $690 and a free 2-week subscription.
2 weeks.
is the guy just like offering himself up
I don't know.
to get a free
Melissa always brought y'all cookies and
get a
handed
free $15?
Jake knitted garments for his child. If you remember Melissa.
I do vaguely remember that, yes.
Wow, she's hot and sweet.
And can sew.
You, Dan, also gave her your ticket jacket. I think because she was drunk and wouldn't shut up about it. From David Miasso. I did take to in the later years of the ticket. Like when we would get gear, I would just give it away at the event.
Sure.
Whereas early on, I would just keep everything, and now I have 1,000 things that I will never wear. In fact, I think we should have like a... I don't know. I'd like to do some kind of a... What would we call this? I don't know if we would call it a garage sale or something, but something... Maybe we'd do it even if we want to be charitable. Once we can actually, do things on our own. have like an event where we, empty out our closet. Like I have a lot of stuff that I just won't get rid of, but I would if we were giving it away, or like, a $10 donation to this charity. You could have this 2002 ticket stock shirt that was mine.
Yeah, I definitely have
worn once.
Like I don't know, what plastic or whatever, just like bin full of that stuff.
Yeah.
In the garage. But it just always felt like if you just give it away, does it make the people that gave it to you feel like you didn't appreciate it?
You mean the ticket?
Oh, well, I mean, like, let's say, for example, like a Romo Mavs jersey. Like, I don't know that I really am ever going to wear that.
Well, but if we work a charity angle in, that's a force field.
That's good.
Hey, no, I didn't give it away. I actually wanted it, but actually I wanted the kids to eat a little more. But I suppose
This kid got hit one time less today.
I suppose you're fine if you're just upset I gave away your gift. Daddy Hotmail, it's your full-time oil and gas engineer, part-time professional pole artist, Jordan. This is a lady named Jordan. Day 11, subby 3670. It is my 28th birthday. My leaders are Jake's part-time off, or PTO, Blake's tax bracket, and Dan's can of snakes. For my present, I would like you to send me your favorite full-length no puppet song, so I will perform with it on my pole. Here's 2 pictures in lieu of bikini pic. One photo of me taking a bath in $2,800 in ones, a tradition my friends and I started when we were around 20. Every year we multiply our age by 100 and do a photo shoot with that amount. So she's lying in a bathtub covered in $1 bills. You want me to give you these pictures and you could lay them over the video later?
I definitely want the email.
I don't know if she wants it on the video, but I would like to see it if you have it.
Also,
PS,
do you think that PTO means part-time off?
I did. What does it mean? PTO.
Paid time off.
Paid time off. All right. That's
Debit one for businessman.
That's why we're great together. Because I was going to just give people time off.
No, but
You're wanting to pay them.
But I still want the email.
Anyway,
Good
P.S.
Lord.
My mom used to date the old gray wolf. God, you have no idea how long I've been holding that in. It was weird how they both had Jordans within 7 days of each other, and Soup's Auk when we were introduced. That's from Jordan, 28 years old today.
That
is weird.
Soup's Auk.
Uncle Hotmail, please wish my husband Chuck Stokes happy 46. Dan is his leader. He's a day 2 DF. We're listening in the future.
By the way, 814 day oneers.
Look at that guy. Rounding up data, providing you the analytics. That's what he can do for your business.
Only 15 minutes after you asked for it.
Yeah, but you have to remember, there was a 5 p.m. COB.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think they
Stop
cut off
registering
at
at
that
that time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then that's good. Anyway, that's from Stephanie. Chuck Stokes is 46. Heil Bracket Dan. Matt Stepp sending you this from Cambridge, Ontario. Day 1, subby 173.
That he could probably beat me in high school mascots.
Please give a shout out to
Step?
Oh yeah.
Did you say Matt Stepp?
Yes, Matt.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, you're dusted.
He writes for Dave Campbell's Texas High School Football.
He's the king.
Yeah.
Like he is Dave Campbell's Texas High School Football?
Between him and Greg, he might as well be.
His daughter, Michaela, is 23. My leader is Dan's ex-girlfriend who smells like a Papado's kitchen. And Michaela's leaders are Roasting Me and the Post Malone Raising Cane's.
Fair. Very fair.
I would like to conclude this communication on this inferior email platform with a question for Jake. Word is on the street, Richland's 7-on-7 team will be looking for a coach this summer. Will you answer the call of your alma mater, lead the Royals back to College Station glory this June? So, yeah, that's from Matt Stepp.
What a great dude.
You should definitely do that.
I would love to do that. I have some ideas.
The flea flicker offense?
Yeah, the flea flicker based offense.
Since we're talking remote money, he said, Colin says, "Hey Zoners, here's my idea. How about to keep the bit? You charge $6.90 per guest to come up to the den. Okay, we're gonna keep that. For someone's home, you tack on $4.20 travel and setup fee, and so that'd be $11.10 total. That way, a group of dudes can all chip in, and the price remains reasonable per person."
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Okay, write that down.
Okay.
Back conversation we had previously about working at Hawaiian Falls.
Yeah. Got a couple about this myself.
I think someone, maybe one of our sit-ins was saying how he was a lifeguard and they would actually like throw a baby doll, or did you say that?
No, I said that, that I actually saw that happen at Hawaiian Falls. And
you're just lying in the lazy river and all of a sudden this baby's in there.
Yeah, it appeared to be like
bobbing up and down.
unplanned training exercise.
Yeah.
And then your rebuttal was they should choke out a 2-year-old and throw a real life human in there.
That's
Right.
correct. And my wife
Not kill the 2-year-old.
My wife actually worked at NRH2O. And the thing about that was, I don't think I brought this up the other day, is that at least like one out of every, 4 or 5 shifts, you had to be the frog, which is just like dressing up as a mascot for children's birthdays. So like the fun part is you're like, all right, well, I'm in a bathing suit. I'm out here basically doing nothing but getting a tan. And then, 20% of the time you're dressed up as a frog in 150-degree heat.
But I'm sure you get paid real good.
I'm pretty sure it's minimum wage, Dan, actually.
Real
Back to
good.
you.
I got a bunch of emails about where we could watch the eclipse.
You never really followed up on the Hawaiian Falls thing.
Oh, I didn't get there yet?
No.
That's from Carly. Sorry, I work for a theme park company. I got you, guy. I'm a former Hawaiian Falls employee as well. I can confirm the lifeguard training. The doll's name is Timmy.
Why do they have to give it
They
a
always
name?
name it.
It seems so unnecessary.
Couple eclipse. Somebody downtown Dallas said they have a rooftop of a garage that would be empty, and we could go there. That'd be
Okay.
kind of cool.
He knows it's going to be empty.
Here's the thing. What if it's like today?
How awesome would that be?
Today it's really
the whole
cloudy.
thing just gets. It's
It's
like
just
the
raining.
It's like the Cowboys or the Arlington Super Bowl.
Well, but that's what I.
It's just like we're never. Like the sun is like we're never coming back here.
My concern is
Jeez.
if we do it somewhere elsewhere, then if we drive, somebody else wants us to drive to Ennis.
That was very
Enos.
solid. Very solid.
Thank
What's
you.
Ennis?
I don't know. It's too south for me.
Dang, I know Graham Harrell. You'll get there, bud.
I know. I'm not Matt Stepp yet.
Paul says we should do it at the Grapevine 9/11 Memorial. As the moon traverses across the sky and in front of the sun, it'll be reminiscent of the plane's flight paths on that September morn.
Yeah, it was a fateful day.
Matt says Jake dropped the ball not jacking up your vacation rental price for your vacation home. In Wyoming, when we went, there was a shitty roadside motel, like a $50 a night type, going for $1,300 the night before the eclipse.
Wow,
Yeah, but you didn't want to lose your superhost or whatever.
that's true.
What do
I
you
don't
call
wanna
it?
Superhost.
Superhost. Okay.
Matt also
you
says,
get it.
glad you're forcing Jake to watch the eclipse. I can't wait to hear him eat his words when he sees it.
Oh, forgot about what I texted you guys about the other night.
Yeah, let's hold that for a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do that right after this last viewer mail.
Okay.
Dear T.O. Hotmail, in case you missed this was Rick Mitchell on NBC5 last night.
The
And
great.
You know what? The great Rick Mitchell.
I love him.
I did miss this, and I would like to play this.
Well, it
I'm just thinking about
doesn't
it.
sound like a serious weather report.
Okay, so they're doing a report on like some kind of program or school or whatever that helps disabled kids.
Okay.
So that's where we pick it up
Good.
in this story.
It gives
the girls a life. It gives them somewhere where they can be free and be themselves without being limited.
It also gives them a place to belong. In Benbrook, Allie Spilliards, NBC5.
And as far as its founders know, AIDA is the only team of its kind for girls in wheelchairs. They say they hope one day to expand to other cities. You can learn more about the program on our website, nbcdfw.com. Thankful to Allie for that wonderful story.
That was a good story.
It was.
You know, Brittany, when I first got into TV 100 years ago, not really, but 30 years ago, I worked with a meteorologist who was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
And there was nothing she could not do.
That's
except walk, but she drove. She got up. She in front of the green screen. Of course, she was in her chair. Wonderful woman. Wonderful woman. Hey, we've had some rain tonight.
Oh yeah.
Allie for that wonderful story.
That was a good story.
It was.
You know, Brittany, when I first got into TV 100 years ago, not really, but 30 years ago, I worked with a meteorologist who was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
And there was nothing she could not do.
That's
except walk. But
yeah, so there's a lot. There's a lot there. The first thing is the anchor going, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's he headed with this?
Like, yeah.
And then the second thing is just like, of all the things that you would say about someone in a wheelchair, you'd be like, they were super capable, they were super intelligent, like nothing held them. Well, I don't know if you'd go that far, but you would never say there's nothing they can't do.
Yeah.
Because, like, unfortunately, one of their defining characteristics is that there's definitely
major thing
that
you can't do. Unless they are in a movie with Ben Affleck about one of the darkest days in U.S. history.
Well, it's based on true historical events.
Unless you're and the president is a key component to it as well. That's awesome. Yeah, so I watched 30 minutes of the morning show.
That's not even the full episode.
It was so fucking bad, dude.
Man, our text thread the other night, I'm like, why is he doing this all on text?
I couldn't. So typically I don't do that, you know? Like, we don't share things on text a lot of times if we want to, like, bring them up on the show. But yeah. I was so mad. And I wanted to turn it off 5 minutes in. But, you know, the wife was like, all right, you know, keep going, you know, and it just kept being the same thing over and over and over and over.
Which was?
Horrible dialogue. It feels like it was written by Aaron Sorkin. If Aaron Sorkin sucked worse than Aaron Sorkin already sucks. It was so bad, dude. Like, I don't even know how people... I mean, there are words I want to use to demean your intelligence right now that I'm not comfortable using. It felt like you have to be literally mentally disabled to like this show.
Do you think it was too highbrow, Jake or Blake? Do you think
he
just
must not
isn't
have
getting
gotten
the nuances of some of the...
He really must not have.
Literal Bluey episodes have more...
Okay, that's different.
Have more depth than the morning show does. It is the worst show I've ever seen in my life.
You only saw 30 minutes of it.
Right.
Okay.
You remember first 30 minutes of Succession?
Do they have a massive departure in the way the show is written?
Is the problem
in
that
season 2?
It depicts women in power?
Or do they always write it in a way where it's like that? Because the way that it's written is like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
That's the whole show.
But that's the theme of fight in the workplace. There's a lot of delegation.
Contract negotiations
what do we do?
going on behind the scenes. Like, that's what they start getting into. It's about your life.
You and I never talked that gay.
Well, I beg to differ. Let's just go ahead and release the unreleased podcast right now.
Okay. Well, then let's define the G word. Emotional, yes. That, like, vapid, there's no substance to anything in any of the conversations. It's all just, I can't believe this happened. And then I tell you the moment I was out. The moment that I was out was the moment where Steve Carell's character is like at home watching the Jennifer Aniston broadcast of like saying that, hey, because I mean, this is not a spoiler. It's within the first 20 minutes of the show that he is no longer on the show. It's what's his name? Matt Lauer.
He got Matt Lauer.
Yeah. So he's no longer going to be on the show because of some workplace allegations. And he's sitting there with like a team of his lawyers. And he's like, she's burning me. I was like, absolutely no one would say that.
It's the first, they're trying to lay out, how shows are?
But why did they write it like that? Okay.
They have to lay out the stuff, big picture stuff, so you got it. And then, as they move on.
Okay. Let me give you an example.
The depth of the storyline is incredible.
The Wire, for example, a lot of people bailed very early on.
Right. This is basically The Wire.
But they bailed because they thought,
with ladies,
is the dialogue going to be like this the whole time? And I would say the difference is I wanted The Wire to be like that the whole time because while it was dense, it was lifelike. This was like, it's just a soap opera. That's all it is. It's just a soap opera with like hotter people, better cameras, and more money put behind it. And I knew from like the second that the show started, I was like,
so good, dude.
This is not going to change. It's not going to be a different show. It's just going to be
Succession is a soap opera.
To an extent, but I didn't actually love Succession when I first started watching it.
This is playing into our hands.
And I kind of still don't love it. It was more just that
it was a strong male lead, so
I was more into it, yeah. Yeah.
This is believable.
But you're getting caught up on the wrong theme because the whole Mitch Kessler rape stuff goes away. I think the thing that Dan wants you to take in is the battle between the employer and the employee. That's what's gripping.
The behind-the-scenes machinations of it's.
So you're going to get past all of this Mitch stuff, and you're going to get past the hiring of Bradley Jackson.
Have to do it again.
But when Alex Levy starts battling with corporate, that is what hits home, and that's what you have to get to.
Oh, I forgot the scene where because obviously Reese Witherspoon is like a cub reporter at this point.
Yes.
Like so, where she's like on the scene of I don't remember.
Protest?
Yeah, I think it was a protest or something. Yeah. And she like gets in a guy's face.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
all right, there's a lot of
there's
a lot of things on TV that you have to say. I mean, when you're at a press conference,
I'm aware of that.
People don't start yelling for comments.
Okay. Well, how many things that happen in Succession can you actually say like that would never happen in real life? There aren't that many.
Well,
how many things in The Shield? Because The Shield is based on Rampart, which actually happened. The Wire, like, go to any corner in America. The newsroom is, whatever it is, the morning show. I keep wanting to call it the newsroom.
The newsroom sucked.
Because they're, okay.
It did.
It's the same show.
No. This one's deep, man.
I think Dan watched it at the perfect time. It's not the best show.
While we were going through the contract stuff, and I'm like, man, this relates. Jake, you got to watch it tonight.
No.
Got a banana to eat. You big ape.
I don't eat bananas.
Now he doesn't have a sister right there.
I know it was, but I also
don't pause.
I brought you I don't eat bananas just because of the one time that on your show George DeJean actually told you that the banana was the Snickers bar of nature.
Is that why you don't eat bananas?
I mean, he's not wrong.
Because I'll still eat a banana. Okay, dude, I almost took a picture of a girl in a car the other day. So
she was eating a banana?
There's a girl who was eating a banana, and it was like our old, I don't know.
Hot wrist.
Yeah. And
from the file of hot wrist.
In fact, I have the hot wrist picture because once she turned and I snapped the picture, but like somebody was eating a banana in a car.
That's not that weird at all.
It seems really weird.
No, that's not weird at all, dude.
she was kind of hot. And then
Yeah, now we get to why
I don't know. Maybe she was like a 6, but then became a
banana 8.
An 8, yeah, like, geez, you're eating a banana in the car. What won't you do in that car? We're already partway there.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's exactly what I would think.
That's why you like ladies that smoke. They have the oral fixation. So, all right, well, we know we've crossed that little boundary. And you're like, it's a cigarette? We've crossed the size. That's fine. That's about the size of it. So, yeah.
You up a little Virginia Slim.
Yeah, a little. Well, look, we tried to culture you up. It's so bad to. You're a tough guy. Because I've told you other things to watch. I think the last thing I recommended was like Comedy Bang Bang 7 years ago, and you were like, this sucks, it's gay. And then
that's not. Yeah.
But then then I've waited 7 years before even suggesting anything else. I'm just so worried about, your wrath.
Yeah, I mean, and
maybe I should just do movies, because now that's just going to be a one-time thing.
Can't get too mad about that.
If you got to go 50 episodes, then you're like, oh, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't go 50 minutes.
Right,
so.
That's... I truly believe... I think the behind-the-scenes stuff you will really relate to.
I would say...
But you didn't want to watch the Larry Sanders Show because it reminded you too much of the behind-the-scenes. So maybe the morning show is just too real.
The Larry Sanders Show was
have enough
awesome.
Guns.
And I just couldn't do it because at the time, like, it was just the way that the bad radio. What was that?
Next door.
Okay.
I hope it wasn't their roof caving in. That would
no,
be a
that
bad
would be like
advertisement.
horrible advertisement.
Yeah.
That one was more like at the time I was doing a lot of like deal with the boss for you guys.
Yeah.
And I understood that was my job, and I didn't hate it or anything like that, but it was just like I just don't want to watch a show about this. But like almost everything you've ever recommended to me that was comedy, I've loved. And I would say that applies to Blake. Blake, very good at recommending music. Now, I did recently tell you guys you have to watch The Octopus Murders.
Which we'll do.
Might have burned a chit on that one, having you guys watch a show about a conspiracy theory.
Dude, a few weeks ago, you had me watch a documentary on Netflix. I went home, I watched the whole thing, and then we never talked about it.
I know.
I felt like you with Star Wars.
Yeah. Star Wars and Avengers.
I wasn't involved in Avengers.
No, but when I was the noon to 7 board up, I went and watched the Avengers, the first one.
And that's like not something you would do for sure.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the documentary?
American Murder. Or American, right?
Oh, the not Gone Girl one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
We still should do it.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
There's our segment.
Shogun is really good.
Boy, it throws me off when you say it like that.
That's how they say it.
I know.
You can say it however you want, but it is very good.
Like, do you remember when we had Dan Carlin on? And he was talking about Genghis Khan?
Yeah, we're like,
I'm like, bro.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But apparently that's how you... Did they do that in Shogun? Is Genghis Khan in that era?
No, but I remember that.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the restaurant?
Oh, the Genghis Grill.
Yeah, so do you have to...
Yeah, I would always go Genghis
Grill. Drill?
I don't think Genghis exists anymore. That was a great place.
They've closed a lot of locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great place.
How's the place in NRH doing? Is it still open?
The Genghis Grill?
No.
Chan's.
Yeah.
I love it, yeah.
Is it open?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'd
love to
that's
go
a
back.
big, me and France's daughter will go there at least once a week.
They used to have a framed Joe Kemp jersey on the wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he ate there every day.
If you are a growing boy...
it's very... Yeah. It's nothing but protein and...
It's great.
Yeah. No, I loved it.
And a free ice cream at the end of the night if you want one. We've never accepted that because
sounds awesome.
They're also like 1 block over from Andy's. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's tough.
Man, we'd
it's
rather
like the 49ers and Cowboys.
Would you rather pay for Andy's or get a free ice cream?
Yeah.
I think the answer is always clear. Okay. Elsewhere, when in your text thread, I'm just looking back. So you were like, hey, we got to play this Jason Kidd audio. And then Blake said, I heard about it. I wish it was real. And apparently, whatever you had heard about actually was real.
Because when I saw the video, it was pretty grainy, and it was from a not Mavericks account. So I was convinced someone had made an AI video of Jason Kidd saying this, but I was wrong.
Is that where we're going to be, like, over the next handful of years, is where we just look at, not only, I mean, obviously the main one people bring up is, like, politicians, but, like, you look at your sports coach's press conference and you're like, no, not real.
I mean, yeah, we are with actual news. That's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said that. Let me get your charger real quick.
So this is after the Mavs' third loss in a row. The Mavs, after the trade deadline, it felt like it was super positive, and they're winning games, and now they've got the roster, and there's no stopping them now. And apparently now things are not going so well.
Yeah, I wrote an incredibly unfortunately timed column of like, hey, they got depth now. They got all the guys they need. They're bigger. They're longer. They're springier, bouncier. They have multiple ways they can play. And I'm pretty sure after that they lost 4 out of 5 from the makers of the Michael Gallup column.
And you wrote Grant Williams out of town.
That one actually, I mean, that's a win for me.
Do we have a Kemp curse?
The Grant Williams one, that's in my favor, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, I wrote that of, like, this is a complete disaster.
You ripped him?
And they traded him the next day.
They read it and
I think
oh
so.
My gosh.
Yeah.
He's right.
Printed it off.
I thought he'd been playing very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here was the opening of Jason Kidd's press conference the other night after their third straight loss.
So why wasn't the effort and the effectiveness?
Okay, and I think they went up 11-0 to start the game.
They did.
This was a Sixers game. The
no
Embiid game.
Yes,
correct. I mean, yeah, pretty much all that now. But yeah.
So why wasn't the effort and the effectiveness that you guys saw in the fourth quarter there for the first 3?
Probably noon game. You look at being desperate, understanding you have no room for error. I thought the guys in the fourth quarter played at a high level. The execution defensively, a lot of our schemes we didn't do until the fourth, and when we did.
Wait, so I just want to know if the other team had to play at noon or if they got to play later.
The Sixers started at 2.
Well, they're used to Eastern time.
Yeah, and that was a weird quirk of the schedule. But also, why would you be worse at the end than you would at the beginning if you had to start at an earlier time than when you're used to playing?
Nothing he's saying makes sense.
Wouldn't the later portion of the game be closer to when your body is used to being in peak performance or,
Right, now
usage?
you're warmed up. Yeah.
So why would the first 3 quarters, or in Tim Cato's case, like the first 30 minutes, why would that be better? Noon game.
I'm going to fast forward to kind of the money. The stuff you couldn't believe was real. You thought this was AI.
Yeah.
Are there any specific adjustments or anything you plan to implement moving forward?
Yeah, well, right now I got to go back and look. We all know.
Because he does a lot of vague things.
Have to go look at the tape.
Well, this is the problem, or there's a lot of mystical problems. Well, okay. Well, what specifically can you do? Like now let's talk some X's and O's. So I thought that was a pretty good question, especially for Jason Kidd, who doesn't usually know what to say after that.
Moving forward.
Yeah, well, right now I got to go back and look. We all know Timmy's not shooting the ball well. Maybe we'll watch Major League and get some Kentucky Fried Chicken and put that in his locker. but no.
Should we do
Definitely thought there
explain
was
sick reference to people who didn't see a movie 30 years ago?
30?
It's at least 30, right? More?
Yeah.
I would say,
80s?
Late 80s.
Was it?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I always love whenever somebody tells a joke and they follow it with, but no. Like there's just a lack of confidence exhibited by, but.
And then he says, like leaving some hang time in case anyone wants to laugh.
Yeah, and
no one laughs.
And I can tell you this, I think the Mavericks have a phenomenal press corps. I know Tim Cato pretty well. I would bet almost anything that Tim Cato has not seen Major League. So if he's the guy who's like leading off the questioning, and I don't know who the female in particular who was asking that question, nobody in there has seen it except maybe Timmy Mack, and I don't know if he was there that day. And he's like, we got to get some Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Which was like because a guy wanted to sacrifice a chicken to
Jobu,
to get rid of the
Serrano,
curse, get rid
Serrano.
of the curse on his bat.
Yeah,
so they brought a Kentucky Fried Chicken instead, and like it wasn't that funny in the movie.
It wasn't even that funny in the movie,
and it's pretty risky to say for it to not pay out.
Yeah, because if it's read a different way.
That's the first place I went.
The race card. Okay, I didn't.
If you don't know the Major League reference and you don't know
never even thought of that.
That's why I thought it was
superstition
AI.
reference.
Okay.
And the exorcise demons reference.
Yeah, that makes.
Then now we're to
the race card.
Well, right now I got to go back and look. We all know Timmy's not shooting the ball well. Maybe we watch Major League and get some Kentucky Fried Chicken and put that in his locker. But no, we trust Timmy's going to get out of it. You know, that's the beauty of sport is.
So Tim Hardaway has been very, very bad, right?
Terrible.
Yeah.
And that was very big on the Soch Sunday as far as, why is he still in the game? How about let's just
try Jaden
Hardy. That's the whole thing. Why you like Jaden Hardy is because he can be that guy, perhaps.
No, we trust Timmy's going to get out of it. You know, that's the beauty of sport is you got to fail to be successful. We're in Boston, and I give those guys a lot of credit. They didn't just start off winning and go into championships. They had to struggle, and right now we're struggling. And
let me look at the Boston championships in the past couple years.
Yeah.
Like he's not even right there, is he?
He's not right there. However, if you wanted to make the case that they've gotten better, though it was not for purely performance, they also fired their coach.
Yeah, he's probably talking about the Tatum and Brown core, but yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
And going to championships, they had to struggle. And right now we're struggling, and we got to stay together and stay positive and understand when the ball goes in the basket for us, we're really good. So the next step is if the ball isn't going in the basket, how do we get stops? And that's what a young team is going through, and that's what we're going through right now.
Man, they're not that young, though.
And it feels like his excuses just change with the day.
Sure.
Like it doesn't matter.
Depth.
Maybe it was depth.
Effort.
Maybe it was, yeah.
So one thing before we move on.
It's injuries. It's, okay, I don't have injuries to say today. Okay, well, what time is it? Noon? Okay.
Ball's not going in.
I mean, what are you going to do? Well, then what are you there for?
So the one thing that I wanted to bring up to you, and this is like far from some sort of like definitive research project, but just looking over all four major sports. You know how like I think you've referenced many, many times the Ted Williams example of like when Ted Williams was a manager, even a Rangers manager.
Yeah. I read his book growing up, The Science of Hitting.
The Science of Hitting, and you were like, all right, well, now I got it. And you hear people talk about like Barry Bonds. A friend mentioned this to me last night. I think he was a hitting coach once and was super ineffective.
Because The Science of Hitting just said, well, they would do the shift against me.
I would just hit it the other way.
No. He'd say, I just hit over it.
Oh, hit over it,
Like,
yeah.
it doesn't matter. He never changed his approach. He never did anything. Like, I'm just so good. I would hit a home run. Okay. Well, I don't know that I can do that. I might need some science behind it. But his science was, well, I'm great. Why can't you be like this? Why don't you have this perfect vision and hand-eye coordination? And that's kind of why they say superstars don't generally become good head coaches, because they don't relate to the majority of the roster.
Well, so that's my point, is that if you look at all 4 major sports, it's really hard to find a more successful player as a head coach than Jason Kidd. Like, if you go through the NBA, right? Like, Carlisle certainly had
Don Nelson was a scrub.
Carlisle certainly had his problems. And maybe that's like an era-specific thing, because part of the reason that Carlisle was run was like, oh, he doesn't relate to today's player. We need a guy who relates to superstars. And that's what Jason Kidd can do. He can relate to a superstar point guard. But Eric Spoelstra, like Popovich, like these guys were journeyman players. And it really applies to basically every sport. Like in the NFL, the best I could find were maybe both Harbaughs, which were kind of journeymen.
Yeah, Harbaugh was a spare.
Gerard Mayo, D'Amico Ryans, like guys who made like a Pro Bowl. But like Kidd is a Hall of Famer.
Right.
And it's really, really hard to find across, again, all 4 sports. Steve Kerr might be the best, and Steve Kerr was like a really good role player.
Six man-ish, yeah.
But it's Chauncey Billups, maybe. But I would say out of about 150 teams, he's probably the most successful player who is a head coach right now in all of American pro sports. And I'm not saying that's definitely not why it's working, but he would be proving something that doesn't work all that often. You know? He would be a different breed of a coach than what normally works.
He also kind of like seems like a real players coach.
And I don't know if he is or not, yeah.
He also, it seems like you can get in his doghouse and just be relegated to, what do they say, persona non grata or something like that, for we don't know what the reasons are.
Well, the reasons sometimes might be that the GM that you don't exactly actually want to work with traded for you, like Christian Wood. And that's not to say that Christian Wood like definitely was worthy of more playing time, but I don't know that he ever really had a chance. So I do think there is something to the idea that what they're trying to pull off right now with Jason Kidd as head coach is different than almost anything that's ever worked in pro sports. Like, there's a reason Michael Jordan wasn't a head coach, right? Even whenever he was like effectively a player coach, he was terrible at it. So, I don't know. You've got a couple examples in hockey where it's like kind of worked. I mean, obviously I know Wayne Gretzky was a semi-effective head coach, but almost up and down the list, all you will find are guys who had to grind out end of the roster spots to become professional athletes. And those are the ones that are the best head coaches.
And even baseball, I thought the most accomplished was Craig Counsell, who was a World Series MVP.
Is Mattingly still a manager?
No.
Okay.
NLCS MVP. However, I mean, he made the roster because he was so good defensively, which is like a fun. It's not a skill. I guess it kind of is a skill, but it's a more of a fundamental. Where he's not, a flashy player. He's
also
really,
never an all-star.
No.
I again, yeah, he did win the CS MVP, but you're right. Like that's like a more coachable skill,
right?
Than like, see ball, hit ball, correct. See basket, make basket, see throw, make throw, see goal, make goal. It just never occurred to me until the other day that it's like he's kind of the only one. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was the Rookie of the Year, or at least
Well, no,
right?
He was hired to coach one guy.
Right.
And you even have to question how he does that.
Yeah.
So, all right, we need a break.
The Dumb Zone. Hey guys, Russell here. Yes, the typical boring, Russell, the robot Russell, the one you guys love to know. Real exciting. I'm real exciting. But anyways, everybody has to have an alter ego, right? And I've been thinking about what my alter ego would be, and I think I have an alter ego. His name's Mr. Unlimited. You gotta be unlimited. You gotta have a thought process of being unlimited. So when people ask you, what you're thinking about or what you want to do in life or where you want to go, you gotta be unlimited. Tell them, I'm unlimited. You know what I mean? So when they ask you certain questions like,
who brings you motivation, Russell?
Mr. Unlimited.
Who's your role model, Russell?
Unlimited.
Who's your go-to person for advice, Russell?
They think Pete Carroll, they think this person, think that person. Love you, Pete, but it's Mr. Unlimited. Tell him.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
No puppet.
Raymond sent over some T-shirts for the guys here at Qualis Roofing. That's where we're at today, Sarah. We're at a business.
Why can't I see you, Dan?
Oh, well, Blake is in charge of the video, and joining us now is Sarah Hepola. You may know her from the Dallas Morning News.
Not yet, but thank you.
You may know her from, she woke up when you were on top of her in France one day.
Oh, my God.
That's in your book.
Hey, I didn't recoil first. She did.
It's in your book. You may know her for her New York Times.
If you are that guy,
book.
can I just say, I tried to track that guy down.
I know.
And if you are the guy that I wrote didn't wake up and I was having sex with him. This is the opening of my book, Blackout. It's available on Amazon. And if you are that person, I would like to hear from you.
She went back to Paris trying to piece that night together.
Yeah, the funny thing is like it feels like a number of people could just say it was them.
I can definitely say it was not because I have never been to Paris.
Not yet.
And I don't want your listeners to get the wrong idea about me so early in my tenure on this pod.
Yeah.
Jake, but it would be plausible.
Yeah. Dan's going to Paris next week. How about that?
Oh, you could do a walking tour of my Blackout.
I'm sure it would be accurate.
Kind of like Jake did what did you call your Florida tour?
No, I mean, I lifted from those who had come before me, just a trail of tears where I went to the place where Robert Kraft got whacked off the morning of an AFC championship game, owner of the Patriots.
I'm sorry. Whacked off or whacked?
Off. Yeah,
Whacked
you
off.
need the off part.
Yeah, it was like interestingly enough, it was like a
massage parlor.
It was a massage parlor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. The owner of the Patriots.
Oh.
It was the morning of
Jake is a bit crass.
Yeah.
But I'll translate.
But the weird thing about it was when I went there, they were actually remodeling it into an escape room, which just felt a little too on the nose.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, then I went to where Tiger Woods got pulled over for a DUI. I don't think he was drinking. I think it was just pills.
Yeah.
I went to the place where he hired the woman who ended up suing him. I think it's called Woods. Very creative.
Oh my God.
And then I actually went to, I can't remember if it's 510, 16, 518. I went to Jeffrey Epstein's house on El Brillo Way. It's like 510 or 518 or something like that. Yeah, I went to his house.
You said that felt wrong.
It was the creepiest thing I've ever been involved in my life. By far.
Why? Could you feel the bad energy emanating from it?
Yeah, because the other thing about it was, and it'd been 7 or 8 years since anything, since he had lived there, but it was at the end. Oh, by the way, it's 2 streets down from Mar-a-Lago.
Wow.
So I was able to knock out. It was a little twofer. It's at the end of a street that dead ends into the ocean. So it was very clear that like he bought this house, like with the implication of there's really not anywhere you can go. Like you can either go to the ocean or
just kind of stay here. And
what'd you just say, Sarah?
He didn't kill people. He wasn't drowning. I said he bought the property because people like beachside property. I mean, like there is that is not exactly specific to people that transgress, sexual norms.
But I will tell you, it wasn't even really beachside. Like it's just like the bay opens up. So it just definitely felt to me like you knew whenever you were there are two ways out of here. You can either climb over these rocks and go into the ocean, or you can run down this long street, back out at, and there were still like a bunch of cameras there and stuff like that. But we're not here to talk about my Trail of Tears.
Can we talk for a second about Robert Durst? Because I went to Galveston and I did a ghost tour. And they take you by Robert Durst's house in Galveston, which was incredibly creepy because people live there right now.
Ooh.
And so like there's like a kid pulling his bicycle up, and there's like all these ghoulish tourists standing around on the other side of the street going like, and this is where he like beheaded the person. And I was like, oh my God, we need to leave. Like it was the true crime thing can tip over so quickly into ghoulishness, and you just feel sort of like, this isn't right.
Yeah, there was no one living at the Epstein house at the time, but there were people there like remodeling it, and they definitely knew what I was doing there, and that made me feel creepy. Like,
I felt that way when I went to Cielo Drive to see the Manson house, which is gone now.
Yeah,
but I felt really like, what am I doing? This is gross.
At least I had like a radio show.
Yeah, I just had like a kink for ghoulish stories. There is a book that Chuck Klosterman wrote called Killing Yourself to Live.
Mm-hmm.
And he visits all the death sites of rock stars.
Wow. I think I missed that one. I thought I've read everything here.
Got that advanced, though.
So Sarah Hepola is, I mentioned the Dallas Morning News. So you've been hired. They created a position for you, right? What have you been hired to do there?
I'm the high-profile writer.
Whoa.
That sounds really important.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So that's
who you're talking to right now.
That's not us.
Now, do you also have your writings on Substack or just your pod?
Just our pod, Smoke 'em if you got 'em. And then I'll continue to write for Texas Monthly. I have 2 big features coming out there. One is about glamping and one is about Monica Aldama, the coach from the Netflix series Cheer. It was like a really big story, and because she's been like plagued by scandals. So those 2 stories are coming out, and I'll write for other publications, but I am High Profile was a big, like glossy, splashy section in the 80s and 90s. And, it was like big magazine style photos and, deeply reported features. And it was basically like a magazine inside of your daily paper. And this is a little bit more of a modest relaunch. It's not an entire section because, I don't know if you noticed, but like the newspaper business is dying. Like the entire media world is dying. I don't know if you guys had got the memo on that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we think we're doing great. So, and in fact,
and Patreons.
That's right.
So we have to promote something. We talked this morning. I did with Sarah Hepola. With your blessing, Jake. I'd already talked to you previous to that.
Sure.
And we wanted to do something. So we will announce that we have done something. We are going to make this a regular feature.
What?
So every other week, Sarah Hepola will join us right here in the Dumb Zone, smartening up the Dumb Zone.
I love how you say with your blessing like it wasn't literally my idea.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Credit for fucking anything anymore.
Oh my God.
I'm willing for you to make the phone call then.
Okay.
Can I just say there was a really interesting bait and switch, or I don't even know what to call it, because Jake is the first person that reached out to me about this, but then Dan started texting me. And I was like, what happened here?
Dan's the closer.
Well, Jake often has an idea, and then it just sits there.
Oh.
And then if I get on it, then we do it.
Fantastic.
Jake is the idea man. Dan is the closer.
I'm the action man.
You got to see the whole place.
I got action pants. I got everything. So then I'm surprised you didn't send this to Jake then this morning, because then this morning, and last week, remember what I told you? I said in fact, because we're contemplating a move ourselves over to Substack.
Sure.
A little behind the scenes biz talk. They're interested in us getting over to that platform. And so there are many things to take into consideration. How big of a beating would that be for everybody who already subscribes? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But we're on the fence. We're pretty close.
Yep.
This might just happen.
I'm
So
hearing a
last
mixed
week,
message. We're on the fence, but we're pretty close.
well, whatever. Just it is a mixed message, but I think we're going to do it.
You're on the fence, and it's splitting your pants at the seams because that's how far you're tipping over into that side, right?
That's a writer.
Yeah, don't like listen to what I say and then call me out on the logical, inaccuracies or whatever. So
That's what I'm here for, baby. That's why you hired me.
So
That's
part
right.
of this, I've been wanting to subscribe to your podcast for quite some time. And last week I thought, okay, well, let's just see how easy it is. If I go to Apple Podcasts
Yeah.
and type in Sarah Hepola or type in Smoke 'em if you got 'em,
Yeah.
how hard is it to subscribe? And it was incredibly easy. So there's a little thing there. It just says, you can subscribe here at substack.com, substack/ whatever. You click on that, and then it gave me a thing for, do you want to do a month? Do you want to do a year? And I thought, Sarah, I think we've become more than just like
Monthly.
Well, I feel like we've become kind of friends.
Yeah, no, you become an annual.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I went annual right away, and it's so easy that it just had Apple Pay. Just click that, and
Double-click it.
Now I'm locked in because Apple Pay. I'll never look at that again. I'm probably in for years, Sarah.
Sure,
Yeah.
until death.
Yeah, I won't even be hosting it anymore. It'll be like
Right.
some Gen Z person.
But you
that's
know
come
what?
in.
That's how much I care about Sarah Hepola, the great Sarah Hepola. She's been on our show
investing.
before.
He's literally just
Yeah.
trying to dunk on me because
No.
he wants to claim this.
No. I want to tell you this. Then Sarah texted me this morning.
Oh, not me.
Or yesterday. She says, does my regular slot, because before this morning we had not come up with the actual pay, but man, we negotiated hard.
Mm-hmm.
We went back and forth.
It was hard.
How'd you do?
How'd I do?
Any better this time?
Well, I set it up with, I don't know how much to say, but you could probably just counter and I'll say yes. And then that's
He literally
what she did.
said that. He literally
that's what
set
she
it
did.
up as, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to give you a number and you can probably negotiate it higher.
Yeah.
And then she did.
I'm
and
not.
then I said yes right away.
I'm not terribly surprised by this development.
There was no back. Yeah, he's seen me negotiate. I'm not
Unreal.
good. She says, does my regular slot include a subscription to your podcast so I can listen?
Wow. My dad doesn't even get that.
Wow.
You make Chappie pay?
Of course.
So Sarah, who before this text considered, wow, I think we're actually now it's kind of we're becoming friends.
And she just put you over a barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I needed to negotiate what you're paying me plus 7.
That's right.
And I said yes.
That was the easiest way to do it.
I just said yes.
Sure.
Of course.
Why not?
I'll do whatever Sarah Hepola asks. And you can take that to the bank, Sarah Hepola. So anyway, I'm real happy you're going to be on with us as a regular thing. And I'll buy you 100 subscriptions.
I just want to say, I don't have fat terrestrial radio dollars like some of the people on this call.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's
It is lucrative.
Yeah.
It's a life that's hard to walk away from.
Yeah.
But we did it. You actually said, you know what? I'd love to jump on in the next day or two because you were excited about a story that's just broken.
I am. Do you guys know Don Van Natta?
we read everything he writes.
We enjoy when he releases a story.
That's good enough.
Feels like it's always about Jerry.
Yeah.
It's quite often
Or Jerry's
or Daniel Snyder.
daughter.
One or the other. Yeah.
Oh, he was on the Dan Snyder beat. I mean, I think he was like uniquely invested in taking Dan Snyder down.
Yeah.
Don Van Natta is 3-time Pulitzer Prize winner. Just as heavyweight as they come in the sports world, she said, not knowing sports at all. But I know Don Van Natta, and he just scored the unauthorized biography of Jerry Jones, one Gerald Jones, for Simon & Schuster. It's going to be a barn burner. I'm so excited about this.
So they just announced that today, that it's not out, it's going to be coming out?
It's coming out in 2026. So they just announced that he sold it. Now, I do know Don Van Natta because I had some chit chat with him. Remember when you were doing terrestrial radio?
Vaguely, yes.
And I came on a show that you had, and we talked about that crazy thing where Rich Dalrymple, the PR guy at the Cowboys, was caught filming the cheerleaders.
Yes. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
No, I think he was.
And Charlotte.
He's doing a little upskirt on
yeah,
That's what we forget.
The draft room part is definitely...
According to somebody, he upskirted, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the one where Jake's like,
Charlotte.
Look. I mean, if you're going to be near Charlotte all the time...
what are you going to do?
She's very, very striking, fetching.
So crazy. Everything about that story is so crazy. And we didn't get a quarter of it. I mean, I just know there's so much stuff behind the scenes. But Don is who broke that story. And then when he heard me either on your show or the afternoon show, I don't know, he reached out and he was like, listen, I don't know you, but we need to be in touch because he was kind of like, you know a lot and I want to talk to you. So we ended up becoming friends, chit-chatting. And so he told me a while ago that he was thinking about doing this, but he was going back and forth. And I just think this couldn't be better for our town. You know, I don't know if you remember the 2014 Sports Illustrated story he wrote about Jerry. It's kind of an epic. They spend like 3 days together drinking Johnny Walker Blue.
It's the Johnny Walker Blue story, yeah. And it's the Johnny Manziel story. Like,
yes,
that's where we first learned that they had to wrestle the card away from Jerry for Johnny Football. Yeah, that was a big one.
I mean, Jerry, and I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know. I mean, he's an interesting in me. We talked about the paternity suit this week. Scandalous. There was a judgment that he got the sex assault lawsuit against him delayed again. This is the one about whether or not he grabbed somebody's wonk in like one of the suites, I think. And, you know, so he's got this whole tangled history, but journalists love him. They adore him, and he adores journalists. Because you guys would know better than me, but like when I was talking to sports guys about him, every one of them was like, but he gives the best quotes.
Yeah. You're right. He is awesome. I've loved having him on.
He doesn't just give the best quotes. He and really it's the entire organization. They do a really good job of creating like an off the record situation without even asking for it. So, you know, they'll have you to this party, you know, in whatever it is, Malibu. And it just feels like yeah, exactly. And you go there and you're like, well, this is weird. But when you're there, it feels like you're implicitly just saying like, okay, well, if I'm going to take this awesome stuff from you, I'm not going to write down everything that you say. And for radio morons like us, we're like, well, what are we really going to do? We don't really report. So whatever, I'll just take a free vodka and a free, you know, California roll. But there are tons of actual like...
I'll give my soul away for a free California roll.
Yeah, but there are actually like a ton of like
Pretty
actual...
good, Sarah.
They're fantastic. Actual like print reporters there, like, which I don't consider us to be, and they just kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
I know.
And it
Jake,
doesn't seem like anybody really asks any questions. So I'm just like looking around like, okay, I guess if this is what we do, then this is what that's what they're doing.
I
weird.
tried to write about this. And I got thwarted at every turn. It is so hard. And even, I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but I will. Like Don Van Natta was like championing me. He knew the piece and he was trying to get it placed. And it was getting shut down because it basically was about how the entire sports journalists are like complicit, and not like in the way it's like a sneaky way, the way that you're talking about, Jake. It's what Marshall McLuhan would call manufactured consent. Like you're basically like coaxed into.
And Noam Chomsky.
Oh, Noam Chomsky, is that his theory?
Correct.
I thought it was McLuhan. Well, anyway, somebody
a lot of tension
had
here between Jake and Sarah.
Noam Chomsky wrote the book Manufacturing Consent. I only know that because it's my favorite book of all time.
Oh, Jesus.
Interesting.
All right. Don't.
Why have you never told me
mess
that?
with the
I would like to read your
bulls.
favorite
You'll
book
get
of
the
all time.
horns. Jesus Christ.
Now, he may have lifted the term from McLuhan, but anyways.
Okay. Well, let's not fight about it.
Sorry for ruining everything for everyone.
No. Let's not fight about it because mostly you're going to win because I don't know enough about that. But I mean, so I don't need like, so what you just described is that, and it works because it's so subtle. If everybody had to sign non-disclosure forms the second they got on that Cowboys bus, there would have to be a moment of like, oh, I'm really doing this.
Yeah.
But you step into it one little piece at a time. And what happens is people like you and 90% of the people there are looking around going, oh, I guess this is just how we do it. This is just what we do.
Yes.
And then, I was hearing wild things. I was hearing secondhand stories of wild jokes made at that event. And I'm sure they were just jokes, but just I wanted to put them in print because I wanted people to get a glimpse of what Jerry feels enabled to do in front of beat reporters when he's footing the bill.
So two things. One, Noam actually took that term from Walter Lippmann. I just looked it up. So we're both wrong and both right. And two,
Great.
The weirdest part about it was like Al Michaels would be like at these things. It wasn't just like,
right.
Hey, the guy from the Dallas Morning News. It would literally be like TV executives and like the biggest play-by-play people in the world or the biggest, producer. It was like we were small fries compared to, the people that you would see there. And they were all just kind of in on it.
Is that like JFK nailing chicks and the press corps back then all knew?
It has a lot in common with that. And when I interviewed the first female beat reporter for the Cowboys, who was amazing. And her stories were amazing. And her stories about Tex Schramm were pretty eye-popping. And it reminds me, and that's the Kennedy era, right? No, actually, I'm sorry, that's that's the 80s. But Schramm is from that Kennedy era.
Yeah.
And Dale Hansen will talk about this too. He's very frank. He quoted liberally in my piece about the way that and he won't speak bad on Jerry. He had this line that I loved. He was like, don't throw stones in my glass house. And I was like, yeah, he knows that basically what Jerry did over the decades was to make them not only complicit in the way you're talking about, Jake, but to make them bribable.
Yeah.
It's kind of like whenever a big story does break, it's never from a local guy.
No, it doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen ever, actually. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to, have your access taken away forever.
And then what sucks about that is that then people will get on to the local people and be like, well, why didn't you do that? It's like,
right.
Well, I also still have a job to do for which I am paid, for which my employer expects me to do. And if I were to go do that, I could not do that. And now where am I? So I don't blame any of those.
Well, and I know, No, you're exactly right. And I also know that Dallas Morning News, which is my employer, has tried to do hard-hitting pieces on him, but it's really, really, really tough to get people to go on record. He is so scary. I don't know if he's I've never met him. I've heard I'd love him. He's hilarious. But the sort of infrastructure around him and the legal mechanism, like they can sue anybody and they could bankrupt anybody if they want to.
What's going to be really interesting about this book is, okay, so if it comes out, let's say just like early mid 2026, I think by the end of this year, if not by the end of this year, early next year, we're going to get the 10-part Netflix series.
Oh God.
But that's Jerry authorized.
They paid
It's 100%.
$50 million for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's The Last Dance, right? Like that Jordan had an authoritarian hand.
If you say so.
Well, no. I mean, so there was an ESPN documentary called The Last Dance about the Chicago Bulls in the 90s.
No. I'm Marsha McLuhan. I know that. I know The Last Dance.
I'm just
more
saying,
than
like,
I know manufacturing consent. But what I'm saying is that was I will be skeptical if it is that level. I am skeptical it will be at that level.
I just know that Jerry's going to have like a ton of editorial control over the matter. And
that's why.
That's why it felt like the whole like Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones situation with the Ring of Honor, etc., on a random noon game in Detroit or something.
But I mean, that's a look at the modern media or modern, documentaries as well. Just have you been following the mini controversy about the Patriots one? There's a new Patriots documentary on Apple TV. That's probably why you don't know about it, because you never know about anything on there. And and there was one that Tom Brady produced a couple years ago. And I guess the Apple TV one is, at least this is according to Bill Simmons, that it's really downplaying the contributions of Belichick. And it's a lot more highlighting Robert Kraft and what he meant to the whole thing. And like you could tell Robert Kraft is who this is going through, the owner of the Patriots.
Yeah.
And the Tom Brady one like kind of highlighted how great Tom Brady was for all the things. Like, it's everybody puts out their own documentary now. And
I'm going to put one out about us.
I think this is even in like the HBO book. The thing was,
about me.
The book about HBO, who started doing a lot of these things, was you're in a weird place there. Like, if I can get whoever, Sting or somebody, to give me full, hundreds of hours of interviews and access to all your archives and all, okay, well then I want all that. But they're also going to be able to kind of steer you in a certain way.
Sure.
Oh,
which is
documentaries. Documentaries used to have a really narrow pinhole for distribution because they had to go into theaters, and most theaters don't want them. But with streaming services, the floodgates opened, and they're cheaper generally to produce than feature films, and certainly like narrative series, and they're really, really popular. Especially when you get things like this. I haven't even seen this vanity project that Jennifer Lopez just put out, I Am Me or something like that. I Am Now.
Talking to the wrong people.
Sylvester Stallone did one. It's the new thing. And Jake made a joke that like, y'all should do a documentary. Actually, you should, because there's no reason not to do a documentary about the lawsuit and all the different things that you guys are going through, because it could be a great story and it costs very little to just have like basically like footage running on you.
Yeah.
It's also a big part of the reason why you'll never see anything negative about LeBron.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Just that he owns so much production capacity and capabilities, and anything that you see of him that's going to be like actually forthright, like with his high school and youth footage, he's going to want to have a part in. So he's just like a master at shaping his own narrative. And anybody who's going to see him playing when he was 12 years old, if they want that footage, then he's going to be in charge of the way that the thing shapes up.
We know people who have, and I know of other people who have tried to do documentaries about the ticket. but the ticket wants to maintain, if you're going to use our you know, our intellectual property and all this, we want to have some editorial control.
And then they said no.
And then maybe you tell that story a little bit differently, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's... You guys ever read the Steve Jobs book? The Steve Jobs book is very interesting. So it's by Walter Isaacson.
Who's great.
So I've heard. And I read that book. And Walter Isaacson does play it up, like, in the beginning. Like, there's a lot of negativity about Steve Jobs in there. But this is an authorized... Steve Jobs knew he was dying. And he actually contacted Walter Isaacson, said he loved another biography that he wrote. He thought he was the guy to tell this story correctly. And he gave him full access. And you learn that Steve Jobs was a complete asshole in many respects. Like, he, you know, if there's a handicapped spot out here, he parks in it because he wants to go quickly. And he'll just pay whatever fines. He doesn't care because he's Steve Jobs. Like, and just he gave access. I'm reading a Belichick book right now, and part of the beginning is, you know, I found from many of my interview subjects, Bill Belichick had been calling everyone, telling them not to talk to me. And I can see Jerry's people doing that, right? Like,
of
hey,
course.
Oh, this book's coming out. Well, don't talk to Don Van Natta.
Yeah.
And you probably already know that if you're...
But Jerry's already friends with Don. That's what makes it work. Jerry got drunk with him, you know, gave him a clap on the shoulder and told him, "You're my guy." And they loved that Sports Illustrated piece. So even though they're calling it an unauthorized biography because they don't want to look, you know, like it's just nonsense, like meaning it's all vetted, you can't do a biography without the Jones-Jerry world being okay with you.
Well, I don't know if he's going to be on board with Van Natta these days, right?
Well, I would say this. I would say that actually, in a weird way, you know, it's kind of like Trump-esque, where what can you possibly say or report about him that people are going to be like, no way, I'm out on Jerry Jones now. Like, you flood the zone, as we say, Dan, to a point where everybody knows that's his kid. It's been reported. Everybody knows that he does this or that in the third when it comes to, you know, extramarital stuff. Everybody knows that you know, he likes his drink or whatever. It's like, what can Don Van Natta, like, I'm not saying it won't still be a bombshell.
No, you're right.
Like, the details of it will still be super, super interesting. But are there any concrete facts that you can actually put forth that Jerry's like, please don't let that become public?
What if he uncovers 8 other babies?
I'll bet it would be something we'd never guess. Like if he has trouble, like if he takes Viagra. Like it would be something really small.
Don't put that in there. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, no, to Dan's point about the only thing is, you know, if you uncover 8 other babies, but I mean, I think we've all heard many stories that there are others.
And there are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like all the NDAs that have been signed, not just about Jerry, but his family.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think Jake is right to make the Trump comparison, which is that for every time the media kind of goes into outrage mode over this, Jerry gets new fans because it's kind of like, yeah, that's my outlaw. That's my guy. And it's like, this is the America we built. I mean, you know, but he has a lot in common with Trump. I happen to think Jerry's a much more likable figure.
Sure.
And, you know, he's also not running the country. But, you know, he's running the NFL. And, you know, their narrative control is astonishing. It's incredibly good. It made me wonder how that picture of Jerry at the segregation protest leaked.
Well, that was out 10 years ago, wasn't it? And then it kind of resurfaced a couple years ago?
Yeah, I think it was out there. I don't recall how the Washington Post second stumbled upon it, but it's like with a lot of things. Like the
timing of it was very around the Snyder stuff.
It was around the Dan Snyder stuff and like Jim Trotter stuff, like the NFL reporter. But dude, like there's that video of him 8 or 9 years ago where somebody walks up to him when he's hammered and they're at a bachelor party and he's like, hey, don't worry about it. He's with a black girl tonight. And that just like came and went. It was like, that is so fucking racist. But it just like happened and everyone's like, oh yeah, we kind of forgot about
Jerry.
that. Yeah, it's just Jerry. Like, what is that? Like, what is, I don't know. Nobody ever talks about that. If that happened today to almost anybody else in the league, people would be like, you should be fired for that. And it wasn't that long ago. This is not like during the Dukes of Hazzard days.
Yeah.
But do you remember the girls in the bathroom stall?
Oh, of course. Ada, Oklahoma.
God, I can't get those images out of my head.
Yeah.
They haunt me.
Yeah. Also not that long ago.
And his eyes are all like vacant. He's like so in a blackout. Like he's just barely there. And then, you know, it's so creepy. And, you know, how many of those, like that's just like a drop in the bucket of what's out there.
Yeah.
And this says 2017.
The
this comment.
bachelor party thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, that was during me. That's during me too.
Let's hear Jerry say this.
Congratulations on the wedding. Now, you know he's with a black girl tonight, don't you?
Felix male. Right here, Jerry.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Jeez. Smooth jazz in the background. And he had to like double take on wedding.
Whose wedding is that?
No, it's literally just somebody who's like at a bar, probably a bachelor party, and they're like downstairs at a hotel, and they walked up to Jerry, and they're like, hey, can you record a message for my fiance? And he's like, congratulations on the wedding.
So crazy.
Very crazy, very creepy.
That's good stuff. Well, this is Sarah Hepola. She's going to be with us at least twice a month, if we can talk her into more.
High profile.
Might be able to, yeah. Go to the Dallas Morning News. Go buy her book. Go subscribe to her podcast. It's so easy. It's so easy to do.
It's so easy. I have an essay kind of introducing myself and what I'm doing with the high profile section or whatever we call it, coverage in this Sunday's Dallas Morning News, if you want to check that out. So.
Okay. The actual printed paper. They have one of those, right?
They do. People pay a premium. My sweet 83-year-old father, who was peddled newspapers in his childhood home in Detroit, he pays extra for the good old-fashioned paper, broadsheet.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Sarah. You are the best, and we'll talk to you very soon. But not next week, because I'm in France next week.
Not next week. Look out for concierges.
They're the guys that I might find on top of me?
Well, they're tricky. That's all.
That's
I'm
the guy, right?
There were two guys.
Jake, read the
there
book.
were two guys. One
No, I
was a
read the
concierge.
chapter. The chapter's available on our website.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's a fantastic book. It's wonderful. And it really makes you think, hey, I'm doing fine.
I'm great.
Like, I think all the dependencies I have, like, I thought I was a
I want to say
an
two
addictive
things.
personality. I'm certainly not.
I'm 13 years sober, and I don't do that anymore, Mom and Dad. So,
okay.
There you go.
Hey, we're gifting you a subscription,
Yes.
not your mom and dad.
Sarah's
I don't
mom.
know what you think.
Sarah's
think this is
mom,
working out.
subscriber number 200. We have a website where you can go find out what your subscriber number is. So maybe that's a reason for you to subscribe. It'll be very exciting for you to go to that website.
I don't think so. I think I'll do it the other way.
I'm trying.
Thanks, though.
I'm trying. Thank you, Sarah. I love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Sarah.
You're high profile. You're very high profile.
That is Sarah Hepola. All right. We actually, a very Cowboy-centric part of the program, right? Do we want to do more Cowboy stuff right now?
Yeah, I'll play this for you because it made a little bit of headlines. I didn't actually see it until this morning, but our good friend Dalton Schultz, was on the Pat McAfee show. Now, I guess now that we're like at the point where we're actually not really like media members and my brother's kind of out of the game, I think we talked about it a little bit, but my brother actually worked for Dalton Schultz's agent for 3 or 4 years. So he got to know Dalton pretty well. In some ways, I think that helped like facilitate us being able to be cool with him.
Yeah, getting him on the show a few times.
I think he's just a cool dude in general.
He was not like Drew Brees. He knew who your brother was.
Yeah, it was a very different situation, yeah. And it's like a small shop agency, so I was not surprised by that. But I definitely knew towards the time that he was headed towards, like, they franchise tagged him, and it's like, is he going to get a long-term deal? I knew that it was not going that well, that he was not exactly thrilled with the way that things were working with the Cowboys.
Okay, so you knew when he didn't like their offer and like
I wasn't going to say that at the time,
Yeah.
but obviously it was going one direction.
again, what are you complicit? Something
Yeah, I mean, but you could honestly
like
probably
Noam
just
Chomsky
tell that.
would say.
Noam Chomsky and Walter Lippmann. Manufacturing Consent, great book.
Manufacturing consent. Oh, that's right. I wrote it down, so I buy it. I'll get it.
So I guess what I'm saying is that, like, when you hear what Dalton Schultz is about to say, is he scorned lover? I don't know. But he's not the first guy that we've ever heard leave the Cowboys and have these sorts of comments about what it was like to play for the Cowboys as opposed to what it was like to play for another team. One example would be like Cole Beasley. Do you remember that?
He kind of said, "This is all about football here." It's weird.
Well, that's going to come up. Yeah, pop me up there.
You enjoyed your time in Dallas. I'm not going to say that. But, like, when you get to Houston, is it vastly different than your time in Dallas whenever you're talking about all the off the field? Is it? Is that real?
That was one of the first things that kind of stuck out to me is, like, it feels like much more, I don't want to say college because it's not, but, like, the focus is just football, you know what I mean? And going back and, like, telling some people, like, how kind of being around the Cowboys, like, practice facility and, game day, describing some of the interactions and stuff that you see on a day-to-day basis, like, surprised a lot of people. They're like, holy crap, like, that actually happens, like, at a practice facility. And, like, it's just, you think it's normal, and then you come to a place like this.
Like what? You don't have to out anything, but, like, what are you?
No, dude, it's just like there's people literally going on tours while you're lifting in the weight room, and they've got like a one-way mirror for people to, like, look at. Like, it's a zoo, dude. There's people tapping on the glass, like, trying to get people's attention as they're doing, power cleans or whatnot. And it's different. And I mean, that's the brand that they've built. That's what Jerry Jones likes. That's the way that they run things. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you don't realize, like, how many, eyeballs and how much that can maybe, distract from, stuff just in the locker room, being in the facility, until you go somewhere else and you're like, holy crap, like, dude, there's none of that. Like, this is, also a really well-run organization in Houston. And I think that was one of the things that kind of scared me about, like, leaving Dallas the most, is, like, I wasn't sure what another organization would kind of feel like. And, dude, I got here and it was like, this place is a well-oiled machine. Like, it's, coaching staff, the coaching changes. I can't speak to the previous stuff, but, like, the strength staff is phenomenal. The training staff is unbelievable.
Like, we can play the last 30 seconds here or so, but I think you get the gist. It's the Texans. It's not like he went to the Patriots. Like, he went to an AFC South also ran and was like, oh my God, like, this team is run like a team. And that's a super, super smart, perceptive, highly observational individual. Like, not to just say, like, Stanford guy, but I just don't think he's, like, BSing. And we've heard before, the flip side of that is that you read the articles about, like, Jalen Smith and the sunglasses, and you're like, oh, you can have a meeting here, and you can find investors for your product.
DiNucci.
But, dude, we've been out there before. Like, I only went once, maybe I went twice, like, with the show, and literally, like, they're working out. Like, there are players there.
Yeah.
And they'll just, like, have you in to go do a show.
Are you talking about the Star?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, there are built-in meeting rooms above the practice field where you can have a meeting and talk about have your QBR, then look over, then they're practicing shotgun.
I mean, again, joking around the other day about kid who had to throw a football to himself. But I mean, that's when we're at Connie Rosso, like that's literally right there. And I mean, even like in a certain extent, like you think about Oxnard, the point of Oxnard is obviously like in theory, to get away from distractions, but it just becomes a tourist destination for more of the fan base.
Right. And
So,
it's
like,
a marketing situation. They love that area.
Everything about it just seems
That keeps them America's team if we can market
just
out here.
market.
Everything is a distraction on this team. From the owner and the zone flooding of stories that come out with him possibly contradicting something the coach might say, to, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't mind a quarterback controversy here, just flaming that fire as well, to contract talks, to, it is the atmosphere that, I mean, boy, how many arguments were on Dallas radio about whether or not taking a trip to Cabo on the bye week actually affected them at all. Well, I do know they, again, were the number one seed in the NFC, and they lost at home to a vastly inferior team on paper.
Sure.
So you can keep saying it didn't affect them, but I have better proof. The Patriots didn't go to just that mindset that it's cool to go to Cabo, that it doesn't matter about appearances even. And because I've tried to, we've done things together. Let's say even when I was on the road at Clemson and I'm doing the podcast from the back room while my family's out, it's an absolute distraction.
Sure.
I didn't do the same show that I would have done had I had nothing around me. So when you're like, or not you, but I'm just saying, when people say,
had you been here at Qualis Roofing?
Well, Romo, but Romo and Witten can watch film anywhere. I mean, watching film on whatever TV, you can watch a film at Cabo with the beach outside. Okay, it's not the same, because if you are at your house, that's all you have. Or if you're at the training facility, unless it's the Cowboys training facility, but if you're at the training facility watching film, that's what you have to do. There are no, possibly I can go just for a swim for 10 minutes in the ocean. The girlfriend's kind of tapping her foot over here.
Yeah.
She's wondering how long this is going to take, actually. So, yes, that is everything that they do. And that's probably why with Jerry in full charge, you will never see the Cowboys in a Super Bowl again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it fits in pretty well with something we've been talking about for the last couple days, which is just, if this is how he acts and this is how people say that the facility runs, it's not that surprising to have Terrence Parsons and Mama CeeDee Lamb and Tad Prescott and Mama Zeke Elliott. Like, if you turn the thing into a zoo and into a circus, then everybody who's on the periphery of it is like, well, why can't I jump in here?
Yeah.
Like, they make that possible, Because
that's going to feed their followers.
Sure. Why not? Build a brand. Maybe t-shirt company, something like that. Anyways,
when I first heard that or saw that floating around going viral yesterday, I knew this would drive you nuts.
Oh, I hate it, man. Like, I want nothing more than, and it's a tough spot, because I feel like the Mavericks have some of this as well, where Cuban's in a huddle wearing a football jersey yelling at refs, and they're in Sports Illustrated over a sexual harassment or assault case, and now they're hiring like a performative CEO. Like, it just feels like The two teams that I love the most, and really the Rangers have had some of this over the years, but really it's just been those two mainly. They're just not really about sports. And that's why whenever you guys get mad at me, whenever I'm like, man, I wish I was like an Eagles fan, I'm like, but think about it though. And as a kid, I grew up a Texas Longhorn fan, up until the age of probably like 18 or 19. And that was the same sort of deal. It was just all a bunch of BS. Like the teams were never really about sports.
And in this
like
league
the Ravens, the Eagles,
But this league of parity, don't you think like every little tiny thing that could help is important as far as winning?
Of course, the margins are incredibly thin.
So it's kind of incredible that they're as good as they are
and still can't get over the hump.
Despite all of this stuff.
That's true too. That's a better way to frame it.
But that kind of makes you think if they didn't have all this stuff, perhaps they do have the talent at times to.
Maybe. It just, to me, I feel like I've been a fan of teams that are run like absolute reality shows for most of my life.
Does it?
I could have been a Browns fan,
Right. Does it make you feel better that they're the most profitable franchise?
It does.
In all of sports?
I have 6 or 7 Forbes pennants in my bedroom. They just all say top valuation.
All right. Want to do some news?
Sure. I mean, I think there's particularly one thing we're going to focus on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Here's
I'm not aware.
With the
Yeah, you are.
Am I?
Yeah, you're aware because people sent it to you because they can't just let me do my job. Mike Tyson, baby.
Ah. Okay, so do we do a watching party stream? Do we go to the fight? It's at AT&T Stadium?
This was a heavily debated topic in the group chat this morning. Not with you, but with my friends. And they were like, you got to do a live stream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, the only reason we won't be doing a live stream is if we're there.
Yeah.
So Jake Paul is going to fight Mike Tyson in a boxing match streamed live on Netflix this summer, July 20th. The only reason...
Cancel vacations. If you have a vacation planned, what's on the schedule?
Let's see, July 7th.
20th.
July 20th.
Dude, we're going to sell this thing out. Dude, let's sell a remote.
Feels like it's made for the den, though.
It does feel like it's made for the den. Let's sell seats. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so the only situation might be for us is like
the 20th. Hey.
A repurposing type thing. I think we talked about this a little bit. Like,
what's that? What do you mean?
Obviously, like with our NFL streams, we don't like put video of the game up. But for boxing, it feels like you might want a little bit of that. But in any case, Tyson, who will be 58 by the time the fight occurs.
Yes. That's the boxer's prime.
That's what everybody says.
Dude, it's Jake Paul.
I know. He's
our worlds are...
I feel like we've...
Huh?
We've
Westlake.
So.
Westlake High School. That's where I went to high school.
I feel like we've toyed with you.
He's the second most famous guy from there. I'm number 1.
This exact scenario could not be more perfect.
I know.
It's these two people.
We've mentioned this.
I know, but as a joke.
And let me say this. No. When we mentioned this one time, everybody was like, "Oh, you don't follow the fight game. This will never happen." I was like, "Well, I don't know, dude. I mean, I'm reading this story." But yes, if we were to create a Mad Lib for Dan,
yes, and it ends
it would be harder to do than like.
Does he dab on the haters? Is that Jake or his brother?
I think they both do it.
Yeah, they're probably both dabbing.
And the craziest part about this is the referee, Tiger Woods.
That's a joke, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it would be Tiger Woods.
It's just Blake and I discussing.
Oh, you're just saying
what could possibly make Dan harder.
Me excited. Okay. Well, I was thinking this is around the time of the match.
Judges, let's see, Bernie Kosar.
Dude, for a second he was like, what?
When you're like Showdown at Sherwood, remember that? The match, all that kind of stuff, the Tiger Woods, that's around this time of year.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, this is my new match. Who's Tyson going to fight this year?
Well, you got it. And it at AT&T.
It's here, yes.
It's perfect.
Yeah, if LeBron...
Yeah.
Dude, not even... Yeah, if LeBron was a ring girl.
Yeah.
It's not even just at the AAC, man. I have a hard time believing that they can sell 75,000 tickets for this. But again, it is Mike Tyson.
I'm not the only one out there that's excited about this.
I know you're not. Like,
and now I'm thinking Dan should go.
I feel like Jake Paul might be able to sell that place out.
No chance. No chance. He is a very, he's a established boxer, but he's not
very
like,
good.
Yeah, he's done very well for himself, but he's not like Pacquiao or Mayweather or something like that. Like,
I know, that's why he'll sell it out.
Because he's
like
a bit?
Pacquiao. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just
rubbing
his what does he make? $18 million a month on YouTube? He's, all that kind of crap. He's got more followers than we do on YouTube.
Dude, and I don't know if
that's not hard.
That's very low, a low bar and a high bar. I don't know if you've seen, it's probably been like a year or so since I've seen one of these tweets, but I don't know if you've seen a video of Mike Tyson, like, moving, but he still looks like he could absolutely take anybody's head off.
Yeah.
I mean, not just for a 58-year-old. Like, he looks like he has just like a jab cross stick move that
I'm an old man, you guys.
Could kill 99.999% of boxers, not just the population.
I got an old man, you guys. You don't understand what it was like when he was 19, 20 years old at his peak.
Yeah.
And, of course, old men were telling me that he's never going to be Ali or whatever. And I was like, boy, old man, you don't get it. He'll never lose a fight. I mean, he was such fights you would just bet on whether they would go a minute. That's how good he was. With top contenders. These
I watched a couple of them.
No
with,
tomato cans.
Tomato cans.
I love that.
I watched a couple of them on Dad Weekends with Dad and the boys. And it was just like, the only thing about it for me at that time is like, I didn't really understand the dominance as much as I understood it's over.
Yeah.
Like, it would be...
Get your party set up.
Wait up. Yeah, we'd wait for however long, and it would take, it would take 30 seconds. And it's just like, well, what are we... Does he fight someone else now, or...
It was incredible. I went to Tyson... I think it was Tyson Holyfield. Not the biting ear one. Ear biting one. But something in Memphis. I went with Bob when HBO would send us to fights.
I thought you went to Peter O'Malley or something like that.
No, Peter McNeely.
Peter O'Malley.
That was his first fight after being released from prison because he had a press conference right across from where my radio station was in Cleveland. Don King did. Don King is from Cleveland.
Was it at a strip club?
No, I don't think so. I'm not saying he's never had a press conference at a strip club. I think this particular one was at the Cavs Arena at the time.
Any guess on the betting odds right now?
Okay, are there any weird rules? Or is it true boxing rules?
Yeah.
Okay, there's no special something given to either one of them for being old and one of them for being not an actual...
Yeah, give me who's favored and by how much.
58 years old. Well, okay, let me just go with, what is Vegas? Vegas wants idiots to bet. So what would I bet on?
Cowboys fans.
Yeah,
you would bet on Mike Tyson.
Right, I would bet on Mike Tyson. Okay, so I say Mike Tyson's favored.
I feel like Paul's got to be favored. And I feel like
because he's 28, 25?
Yeah, and again, pretty good. I bet Jake Paul right now is minus 115.
Jake Paul's favored. Minus 500.
Okay. This guy.
Dan springs into
Dan
action.
just ran to his
Tyson is plus 325.
I have not seen Dan move that fast. It's so long.
I'm going to my bookie. Get it now before the idiots get in and change it. Okay, that's how they suck the idiot in.
By setting the line.
Yeah, I'm the idiot.
You called the exact play.
Right.
Yes.
They suck you in by giving you hey, look, dude. Mm-hmm. You can make $500 easy. Like, what an easy 500.
Well, Tyson's plus 325.
Yeah.
So you'd make 325 on your 100.
Yeah. You're killing it.
So if I bet 100,000, what do I make?
Golly. You're going to bet our studio?
Yes, let's bet everything in the Dumb Zone account. You guys will thank me later.
Sorry, lawyers.
Will we?
Do you think our lawyer would be cool if we just bet everything left on his fee?
On Mike Tyson?
Yeah. Dude.
I'll get there eventually.
Boy, that's great stuff, man. Not seeing it.
So how do you where do you land? That we live stream or we go? I feel like it'd be more fun to live stream, but I also feel like we'd be missing out if we don't go. Probably gonna have terrible seats. You know, it's AT&T. You know.
Yeah, let's live stream.
I think so.
I'm good with missing out on stuff in the world, but that would be a lot of fun. And then we'd be betting there.
I wonder if we could
just get like Soroy over or something.
No doubt.
I love to bet.
Yeah.
Could we do a show from like the weigh-in or something? Could we do something out there?
Have you seen the video?
What if we get a nice the helicopter one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they like do the fake weigh-in type thing.
You weren't gonna hide this from me.
No, I knew I wasn't going to hide it from you, but I was just hoping that it wouldn't have been already retweeted by you.
I have a sorry. I have a Jake Paul alert. Well, it didn't I feel like sometimes if I ever put show content on Twitter, it's something that I know this won't affect how I react on the show or because if I'm into it, I'm into it.
It's a good call. So you may recall a couple weeks ago, whenever we had a news-making doctor on the show, she delivered not only my daughter, but a gorilla at the Fort Worth Zoo via C-section. Well, they're having some problems with the baby gorilla. Not with Dr. Irwin. She's great. So the baby was delivered by one of the zoo's female gorillas who was pregnant with her first offspring. Which they deliver it via C-section, but the mom gorilla, who did not deliver the baby vaginally, kind of showed no interest in the baby.
Ah, okay.
So like that would be like one small distinction you could make between like primate and human is human is like, okay, well, I still understand that to be mine, whereas like the ape is like, what just
the ape doesn't understand that
just because it didn't come out vaginally, it's still their baby. So they've been trying to link it with I guess they're calling it a surrogate, but really more of like almost like a ape nanny.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't find a home for it.
Have they done skin to skin?
Probably not.
Gotta do a little of that.
That's why your kid hates you.
That and many other reasons.
The zoo tried to train a second gorilla to become the surrogate mother of the baby on Tuesday, and I don't know why they had to announce this. The zoo announced that those efforts have failed. But that's the thing. Like, as Dr. Irwin said, she was like, the anatomy is exactly the same.
You mess with nature.
but with humans, you can...
Because in nature, you'd never have a C-section. The baby would just die or she would die, right?
No, but humans are... I mean, that's also nature. It's just that we have like that last thing of intelligence to understand.
Yeah.
Also mine. So anatomy exactly the same. A huge portion of the intellect the same. But all these apes are like, get away from me. Who are you, orphan? Which is really, really interesting. Because
have you seen any monkey documentaries or ape documentaries?
Of course,
like there was one
Project Nim.
There was one narrated by Tina Fey a few years back.
I've seen that, yeah, with the kid.
But it's very sad about the way they will treat their own or just abandon someone.
Sometimes they kill them.
Yeah. Like it's just the way it is in that ape world.
But it's crazy though, because if you look at this, dude.
So this little baby, it's like, hey,
look at him. Like that looks like a human baby.
Yeah, and it looks really sad and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, the good news is, hey, you're alive. The bad news is you're going to be shunned by your community because you shouldn't be alive. So we saved you. We saved you into this life that's going to be one that's very sad for you.
It's pretty wild, dude. They just can't find it a home. You know what they call a family of gorillas? Did I already say this? I don't think I did.
No.
Nothing.
I don't know. I'm thinking of crows, and I'm thinking of
troop.
A troop.
Yeah.
Like TROUPE?
No.
Or OOP?
Interestingly enough, the double O.
Okay. Why do you have to do that for different animals?
I don't know.
Why is a crow a murder of crows?
Why don't we just call all of them a family?
Yeah.
Grapevine man facing animal cruelty charges for allegedly abusing a dog and starving it to death. That was a rude Akash. Grapevine PD said officers got a tip in January about a dog that was barely alive. Oh.
He did not say that.
Behind a dumpster at the Super 8 Motel off State Highway 114.
Why are we're all laughing at this thing? Like Jake's trying to hold in a laugh and he can't do it. He thinks that's so funny to.
So I just
like behind the dumpster. At least they didn't throw him in the dumpster.
The reason I wanted to do this story was because while it's obviously horrible, the dog did not make it. That's a live thing is. I'll get it back together. What do you think about people who read a story like this and their immediate reaction is like way more severe to someone than to someone who kills like a homeless person?
Oh, yeah. I feel like that's the majority of people.
And like instinctually.
Like animal cruelty is the worst thing.
It is the thing that gets you the most riled up from a criminal justice standpoint.
Right.
But I mean.
Right, logically.
A person?
But I mean, take it to the hypothetical of the, you're driving down the road.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to run over
your dog
or a homeless guy.
Yeah. Classic philosophical debate. But I don't know. I just like
this is your dog who annoys you.
This is literally at this time the #1 trending story on Fox 4's website. Now they also have several other stories about people who have been murdered.
Right, but nobody's mad about that.
Nobody clicks on it.
Yeah, remember last summer it was the guy that like dumped his dogs in Cedar Hill or something. That was caught on video.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Everyone tried to find this guy.
That's right. I forgot about that. It was like some farm to market type road or something,
yeah,
and somebody just happened to have a camera out there.
Dumps it. And that story got way.
Oops. Sorry.
That story got way more pub than the
I didn't
guy
even
that,
do the thing yet.
No. That was a total misfire. Cut it out.
Okay.
Beep
no,
it.
I mean, I guess that's it.
He just wanted to be ready.
Okay.
I did. I was hovering my finger over it.
He hasn't leaned back in his chair the whole time.
I know. I was hovering my finger. Now I won't.
No, we're done.
Do you guys want to know what was trending on Twitter this morning? Because you just mentioned that was trending.
I know
something predicted by us, but not for now.
Horse racing is done?
Similar. It was a bold prediction.
I don't know that I definitely have a... I don't know that I know what you're talking about, but have you seen what's happening at Iditarod? I'll have that for you tomorrow.
We're going in a lot of directions here.
You're teasing tomorrow? You're not going to say it now?
It's like a dog, the dog thing.
The dog. You don't know what the Iditarod is?
I guess no.
It's the Alaskan dog race.
Oh, okay.
They've had some major problems.
Jim Rome used to call it the I killed a dog because it kind of rhymes.
And the dogs.
And lots of dogs
Here's
die
the thing,
during
though.
the
The
race.
dogs, they love it.
Ah, yeah.
But they've had some major problems this year. I thought that might have been when he said horse racing where you were headed.
No. Just a prediction on the air. And it did not come true, and it's kind of coming true, but it's just resurfaced. Greg Olson was trending today.
Dude.
Like somehow, I guess there was was it the 7th floor?
Oh, the 7th floor crew part?
Yeah.
There's an old clip from PTI.
Yeah, Michael Wilbon.
Where they're talking, that's when the story first broke.
It's literally like 2004, 2005.
Right.
Yeah.
The prime of PTI.
Yeah.
But it just made me think we should play that song in full someday and just break it down.
I'm ready at the drop of a hat.
No beeps.
No.
I need to know exactly what was said.
It is really, really weird how, and we've talked about this before, but just the fact that culture can move with just like someone remembered something and happens to have an account where they're like, oh, maybe this can get 25,000 retweets.
But maybe it doesn't.
Maybe it doesn't. Exactly. It's very indiscriminate.
The Catch Me Outside girl.
I mean, we didn't.
It was 6 months prior.
6 months later. Yeah.
And then it was a rerun. And I think based on the rerun, then a week later or so, somebody tweeted a clip, and then it blew up.
But
now she makes $1 million a month.
More than that.
$1 million an hour, whatever on
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But there's been a million things like that where it's just like, oh.
So 6 months after,
everybody
imagine
just
her life.
Forgot about it.
She was on Dr. Phil. Nothing happened. There was no.
Are you mad they're stealing your bit? Feels a lot like a Kim spin.
No, I mean, I think, hey, if you steal from me.
You've stolen 3 times.
That's right. Maybe 4.
Is this Tom Brady trying to get at Greg Olson?
There's your news.
The Dumb Zone.
I was hovering. I wanted to try and show you how quick I could be.
And subscribe.
Oops. Yeah, you got them all out of sorts.
The only reason I drug it out is because he tried to play me off the stage like the Oscars 7 minutes ago.
Man. There's just no apologizing with you and moving on, is there? Deeply sorry.
It's okay. Now we'll move on.
All right. I got to rip Potbelly real quick. Or the guy.
Oh, man.
The guy who made the Potbelly.
The gallery has been waiting for this.
Okay, because number one, I blame myself, but the Potbelly guy should have picked up on this.
Right.
So the awesome folks here at Qualis Roofing. You want to join us? You want to join us for a little Today in History? Get yourself ready. This is Brian. Everybody remember Brian?
Hi, Brian.
What if his last name was College Station? Would that be weird?
Be odd.
Because everybody says Brian College Station. No? You guys following that? All right.
It'd probably be a lot funnier if his name was like Dan College Station.
Just saying. Everybody's a critic, Brian.
Yeah.
Anyway. So you guys are cool. You're like, we're going to hook up Potbelly. So Blake texts me that he wants our Potbelly order. So I go to Potbelly. It's in the rotation. Definitely once every 2 weeks. Often once a week. Just with dinner with
at least once a week.
With the wife. I just want Eatsies to know it's considerably less than we go to Eatsies. How about that?
One is 1,000, the other is 1,000,000.
Yeah. So I just went into my Potbelly order, and in fact, I tried to highlight and cut and paste. It wouldn't let me, so I took a picture, and the iPhone now will let you take a picture, and then you can highlight, copy to text, and that's what I did. Because I figured, okay, instead of looking through the order and typing it all out, I'm trying to save time. Time is money in this day and age. So, this is my order every time. Veggie melt, and it goes in order. This is how you fill it out if you're sitting there filling it out. Original, so the size. White, I like the white bread, not the multigrain that it comes on. Then it says mushrooms, and then it says avocado. So then I'll click the box there for no avocado, because it comes with those other things. And I have to click the box that says no avocado. So then and this is the way it's printed on the thing. Veggie melt, original, white, mushrooms, no avocado, comma, cheddar, comma, provolone, comma, Swiss, comma, mustard, comma, lettuce, comma, tomato. So as I pasted this in, I thought, looks kind of weird because it says no avocado, but then all those other things after avocado, could you think that it meant no any of that stuff?
Because it's on its own line.
And so I thought, though, no, I mean, if you're filling it out, but I actually had this thought when sending this text, so I thought, I should clarify that, and then I didn't. So that's my fault. Because it did look to me like I could be saying no to any of that stuff. But none of that stuff is standard. I don't know. I guess the cheese is standard.
What if you had said...
It's a veggie melt.
What if you had, at the bottom of the list, just put also... you just wrote bread? What would they have given you?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Would they simply have charged you?
So the way it's written, it says original white mushrooms, no avocado, but then the way they delivered the sandwich, all it had was white bread and mushrooms. And I'm thinking, if I'm the sandwich artist there, I'm probably like, there's no way they want none of... Does he want bread and mushrooms? Okay, so that's my number one thing, and I am blaming myself. I should have clarified with you guys. You guys are half to blame, because that seems like a weird order for somebody.
Yeah, I'll accept
right?
half blame. Yeah.
But I saw this play developing, and I didn't say anything. So I will accept full blame.
Do you see the text,
while in my head
Jake?
giving you half blame.
I sent it to you. Pull it up.
Okay,
and,
yeah,
and
because I
see
sent
how-
mine to Blake on its own.
And this is why I said your mushroom sandwich is coming.
Oh.
Okay, well, you didn't text me that.
No, yeah.
Well, so now they gave me it's white bread and mushrooms. Now let's go on to fully blaming the sandwich artist. There were maybe 5, you guys saw my sandwich.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 mushrooms on this bread.
Yeah, sparse.
So if somebody did say, oh my gosh, this person, they're on a weird diet. They want bread and mushrooms. If you work at Potbelly, wouldn't you say, well, let me just load it up.
Yeah.
I'm going to fill that as if he was getting meat and lettuce and tomato, but that much mushrooms. I mean, if he really likes mushrooms, but there was literally 3 mushrooms per half of sandwich.
It was the same amount of mushrooms.
And they weren't thick. They were thin. They were just...
It was the same volume of mushrooms that you would have received if you also had 7 or 8 other vegetables on it.
The weird thing is I've ordered this, and usually there's more mushrooms than that, too.
You've ordered a mushroom sandwich?
No.
Even his
on my
normal
regular
vegetable.
one.
Yeah.
But who ordered... I mean, it's the veggie melt. The word melt. I mean, that means cheese. But this guy thought I don't want any cheese, and I want to say that I don't want tomato, even though tomato doesn't come on it. Why would I say I don't want it?
I got to be honest. That's the funniest looking sandwich I've ever seen in my life.
Oddly enough, so I did pour the 3 mushrooms onto one half, and I ate one. It was very good.
Oh,
I can
okay.
see myself in the future just eating a mushroom sandwich.
Yeah.
And I probably would have never had
You have to
that.
order extra, though.
But I really want to go stop by this Potbelly in Arlington, wherever it is, and just hey, who made the sandwiches about 2 hours ago?
Let's talk through it.
Let me just go. You saw this order, and you thought some guy, and then you thought I shouldn't put a lot of mushrooms on. You probably don't want too much mushroom. Like it was like light mushroom.
Okay, but I think this location is by UTA. So you think they give a damn about your sandwich?
Well, it's probably a UTA student.
Yes. So no, he's not thinking. He just hates his job and wants to get out of there.
Yeah.
But now that I'm looking back at like the exact way that the text was written, I feel like you're shouldering too much blame.
Me?
Yeah. Like this. is.
But I did think in my head, should I put avocado at the end?
It's almost like you're
But
dealing
then
with
I
like
thought,
an
well,
Oxford.
but avocado is the first thing they ask you about.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's on a new line.
Like when you're filling it out, on the app. Anyway.
I'm sorry about your
That's
sandwich.
what happened
No, I don't mind.
today in history, apparently.
Oh, no. I got other stuff. Do you want other stuff? You want other stuff, Brian?
Is he out of here?
He's out of here.
Oh, see you, man.
Qualis, you can just leave
Thanks
at
for having us.
3:15.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sweet.
We have hot generator appointments going on this
Oh,
afternoon.
okay.
Yeah.
Even in the rain, huh?
That's right.
You guys will do anything. You guys really care about your customers.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we say around here. Not good at ordering sandwiches, though.
No, I take blame. Because I looked at it and was thinking, are they going to think this means no? So if I actually thought that it might, I should have said something. But the sandwich guy, come on, right? Yeah. The 3 mushrooms.
But what was he going to do, though?
How about 10 mushrooms per side? Just make it at least a real sandwich.
Okay.
Or how about,
that's fair.
It was a $150 order. How about just throwing another sandwich with the other stuff off? Then you got one of each.
Just guess.
Just in case.
Just in
Kind of
case.
like on a multiple choice when you're like,
yeah.
Well, I'm not sure.
I'm going to put C twice when I know these are the same question answer type thing. You ever used to do that?
Oh, yeah.
That was like my early entree into analytics. Can't both be wrong.
So it's Thursday, March 7th. On this day, 1944. You ever hear of Willy Hitler?
Can't say that I have.
He was the nephew. He said apparently
Big Bill Hitler.
He enlisted in the U.S. Navy.
Oh, I have heard of this actually. Yeah, and didn't he change his name when he got over here?
He was initially rejected, but he received permission to serve after he wrote FDR and got cleared by the FBI. Because they're like, oh, sure, Willy Hitler,
yeah.
I'll bet
All
you want to
right.
fight for us.
Also, that's like the funniest fake possible name. Like if you were like a double agent.
Willie?
Yeah.
He then changed his name and lived quietly in New York until his death in 1987.
Yeah, I mean, like if some guy showed up and was like, "My name's Willie Obama," you'd be like, "Okay, well, you didn't even really think that hard about that."
On this day in 1965, a march by civil rights demonstrators was violently broken up
By
in
Jerry Jones.
Selma, Alabama, by state troopers and a sheriff's posse in what came to be known as Bloody Sunday, which makes no sense because it's Thursday. So, but back then, 1965. Jerry wasn't involved in... Oh, Jerry was at Little Rock.
Yeah, and I think it was like 1958.
So it was a different...
I thought Bloody Sunday, I guess for whatever reason, always thought that primarily referred to an Irish thing.
Yeah.
Because of U2 and...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But we just appropriated it?
Looks like they may have appropriated it.
Ireland did? So this was the original Bloody Sunday?
1972, Ireland.
Oh, wow. Hey, yeah, USA! We started Bloody Sunday. 1987, Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight title holder ever, beating James Bonecrusher Smith in a 12-round bout in Las Vegas. In 1987, Mike Tyson was 11 years old.
Very tall for his age.
On this day in 1994, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously ruled that a parody that pokes fun at an original work could be considered fair use. This was concerning a parody of...
Is it Larry Flint?
No, it's a Roy Orbison song.
Oh, okay.
Pretty Woman by the rap group Two Live
Crew. Okay, yeah. Did the Larry Flint thing actually end up in front of the SCOTUS? I can't recall that movie.
I'll say yes.
Because that's what that was about, right? Like satire?
Yeah, was it for Asshole of the Month? Or no, that was... yeah, Larry Flint did Jerry Falwell was Asshole of the Month. It was right back there, right before Beaver Hunt, in the last couple pages of that magazine.
Wait, you wrote Beaver Hunt? That'll make sense to you as soon as you spend 30 minutes watching the show that I asked you to watch, like I watched 30 minutes of the show that you asked me to watch.
Birthdays today, we have former Cowboy Steve Berline, 58.
Berline losing the room.
Lynn Swan, 71.
Still one of the greatest nights of my life.
Brian Cranston, 67. Bret Easton Ellis, 59. He wrote Less Than Zero. Oh, American Psycho. Wanda Sykes is 59. I'm only reading that just to tell you that I hate reading her name. That's how much I don't like Wanda Sykes.
Dang.
I've never really been a fan, but
women are funny, though.
They can be funny. Get over it. It was just, I really had to turn on her fully when people would send me videos of her talking about how offensive it was to use the word gay. And again, this is a long time ago. It was not a moment I'm proud of, but she was like a PSA spokesperson. People were like, "Oh, you think space is still super gay?" I don't know, man. I didn't know Wanda Sykes would be involved in this.
Jeez. Is she gay?
I don't even know.
Or she's just pro-gay?
No, I think she's just probably pro not using
They probably just
slurs.
She's pro getting paid to read whatever it was in front of her.
You're so cynical. Jenna Fisher is 49.
Office.
Love her. Actually, no, I don't. Never mind. I love her character, but as I got to know the real Jenna Fisher, she's quite annoying.
Oh. Why? You listen to her podcast?
And don't listen to Office Ladies. She'll drive you absolutely insane.
Wow.
Come on. You can't be surprised.
Abby and Brittany are 32.
Wow.
The conjoined twins, commonly used these days as clickbait, along with Honey Boo Boo's mom.
You'll never believe.
I'll be like, it's like engaged or something.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's right. It's right next to.
I pride myself on having never clicked on a clickbait.
Yeah.
But I will
if you're going to.
I will open a new window and search Abby and Brittany engaged.
Yeah, just to see
but I
like
won't
how
click on that.
Right. They're right next to 5 worst foods for gut health.
You're right. I will
every single time
eat this one food to lose 90 pounds in 2 days.
How did he? Yeah, exactly. You know what's funny for me?
Married DFW guys getting sex on the side. It'll say
I don't
little
get that
stuff
one.
that.
You know,
Me neither.
What's funny for me is typically I'm in the car during Muse in the News in the morning, and I always like to sort of just do a slight overlay of what's going to end up there and what's going to end up here. And there, some crossover, but Abby and Brittany was not on their list this morning.
Oh, really?
No, and I enjoy that every day about your list.
I try to dive deep.
I know.
As you know.
You do, yeah.
And
especially if we have some war games.
Yeah.
Interesting that you should say that.
Oh, yes.
Because today we have former Ranger Jeff Burroughs is 72. He was the 1974 MVP.
Wow.
Which was news to me a month ago.
I did not know he was an MVP.
We also have former Indian Joe Carter.
Ooh.
Is 63.
Really more known as a Blue Jay, but
known as a Blue Jay because in 1993, I think it was 93, he ended a World Series with a walk-off home run. So what we have here is Jeff Burroughs versus Joe Carter as we play a little war games.
Oh, man. We're going to inflate Carter because he hit the big home run in the World Series, but that's just one at bat. Burroughs did win an MVP.
Have you heard of any of these people, Brian?
I'm kind of between y'all's ages, so high level, heard him in the news, but certainly never watched.
You can't tell me anything about Jeff Burroughs.
Tell me how old Jeff Burroughs is.
72.
That's a very early MVP. To me, that feels like peaking. I don't know that we're on a team here, but I'm just letting you know that is a crazy early MVP. I'm gonna go Joe Carter.
I'm going to go Joe Carter as well.
Brian?
Copeland Lifeline.
Yeah, Carter, yeah.
Everybody's going Joe Carter?
Yeah.
You don't have a thought of your own? You
No.
just let these guys tell you
That's
what
right.
to do, what to think?
Just before my time.
I don't tell him how to roof.
Yeah, you're the sports experts. Comedy experts.
I could tell you how to roofie.
Yeah. Speaking of, you want a glass of something?
I do feel a little woozy after those mushrooms that I ate. Actually, my hand, it's really cool.
So
when you
the
do
walls
this.
are vibrating.
Anyway, the answer is Joe Carter.
Yes.
He actually is the 19.5 to 17.8. So it's
That's
not like
pretty
you guys
close.
ran away with this thing.
Yeah. Did we give the right answer?
Yeah, that's all that counts, right? Is being right.
That's it.
Born now, they're not alive. We have Franco Harris dead on this day.
Franco Harris is dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that myself when I looked at this this morning.
Because honestly, dude,
Like, we've seen him at the Super Bowl pretty recently.
he was there the night of Berline.
Oh.
And that was just a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was the Miami,
2020.
L.A. or Miami.
Oh, that was L.A.
Whatever.
2022?
Franco
Yeah,
Harris died on this day.
He died later
Or
that
excuse-
year.
Died in 2022.
He was there, which was the weirdest part about it. It was called Laughs with Legends. And the most legendary person of them all was Franco Harris, and he was just in the crowd. And then it was just like Steve Berline and a bunch of other spares on stage, like telling, well, not spares, but you know what I mean.
Is that where you saw Jake Plummer?
Yeah. Sat at his
Speaking of
table.
mushrooms?
Yeah, sat at his table, ran into him the next day, and I was like, hey, you probably don't remember this from last night, but I was at your table when Berline bombed.
Well, we should have him on again.
Berline losing the
Let's do it.
He would definitely do it. Great guy.
Not a big fan of that mushroom bar, though. I
You didn't
bought
like
one
it?
of those.
It didn't agree with me.
Yeah. I believe in the power of the mushroom, though.
Sure.
I just got to go tell that kid at Potbelly. Give me more. 3 mushrooms. Like
we got,
okay.
yeah, no, we
on
know.
each half.
Yeah.
3.
It's not a lot.
You could see way more bread. Like, just cover the bread. If this weird person with this weird diet has ordered nothing else, let's use the savings there to give him some more mushrooms.
You know, this is actually a battle that I've had at Subway before because I don't like lettuce on sandwiches.
Okay.
And it feels like lettuce is like half of the sandwich when you go to Subway.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, hey,
It's
you know,
very light.
Can we fill out the meat or cheese a little bit there?
You know what I do at Subway? I make them put it on the other side of the sandwich because they
I
always
have
put the meat.
no doubt about that.
They put the meat on the top and the toppings on the bottom. And they always look at me like that's really weird
He's obsessed with this.
when I tell them to do that. And I'm like, what do you call those things that you're putting on top of my meat? Beside your hand, baby. Yeah. You call them toppings. So
Not bottomings?
yeah, you don't. I'm going to fight this one to the death. Died on this day. We have
Yeah, I think you can tell we're not going to stop you.
died on this day. We have in 322 Aristotle, known as the father of
Nicomachean ethics, logic.
logic.
Okay.
Look at
Nice.
that. God, this guy knows everything.
He's got a master's.
He really does. Just ask him.
I took an entire course on Aristotle.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know the big Aristotle.
Virtue. Yeah, Shaq. That's awesome.
Stanley Kubrick died on this day.
What's he got?
The Shining.
I know.
You don't like Stanley Kubrick? You think overrated?
Sometimes I just feel like people are trying to explain a language to me I don't totally understand.
And died on this day in 1959. Hinsdale Smith. You should know his name, but you're never going to. Hinsdale Smith invented roll-down windows in cars. So imagine that on a hot day in 1920.
That seems like the most basic innovation of all time.
But, like, it was just a window.
They should go down.
Right? What if we could open this window? There was no way to do so.
No, maybe it could like fall into the door somehow.
You know, I didn't really.
What are you, a witch?
Because of the.
How are you going to pull off this black magic?
Is there a lever we can pull? No, we need to crank it down.
Some mornings I will get into a rabbit hole. I should have searched this guy because I wonder if he ended up penniless. Or...
There's no doubt that he did not cash in on the riches. But how many times was he in the car with a buddy? And the guy was like, "Oh, it's hot," and the guy just punched out
Nothing
the window,
you can do.
smashed it with his elbow.
They're all smoking
cleared
cigarettes
the
in
whole
here.
thing.
God,
It
it'd
was
be
just
great
like,
to blow this out.
There has to be something we can do. Nope.
Guy has a gun, just firing through the window. Like, I don't know what else we could possibly do about this, other than just break it every time. There you go, Hinsdale.
And that was Today in History.
Well,
Brian,
time.
what a day this has been, huh?
Thanks for coming out, guys.
Was it what you dreamed?
Everything and more.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of us were like, certainly all the partners and a bunch of our teammates here were all year 2, 3 P1s back in the day. Mm-hmm. So we've been listeners for a long, long time. Followed the whole saga as it went through. And yeah, it's been awesome to have you guys out. Appreciate it.
What day was your sub? Did we get this already?
Day 1, I looked it up, 419. Number 419.
Did
you have 421?
Almost got 420, bruv.
Yeah, he emailed
like
in.
Tuesday or something,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah, so 419.
Do you feel a kinship with those people, the other day oneers?
I mean, if I could have their email, I'm sure we would exchange jokes.
Or Facebook
have
group or
fun.
something like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can set that up. Maybe we can set up a date.
Day 1 Facebook group?
A Discord date. Would you like to come over, perhaps, for the Tyson Jake Paul? Oh,
Count me in. That would be I knew where you're going. That would be a blast. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
That'd be a blast.
I can't wait to make so much money. Betting all you guys. I'll bet all you guys. So was that your closing remarks? What do you got?
Yeah, not much. Just, yeah, we've been longtime fans. I moved to England for a few years and like the ticket and you guys, Bad Radio, Hang Zone, that was kind of my connection back home. So,
why did you do that?
It's for work. Yeah, took the family out there.
All the roofs that nobody.
No, before this, I was in tech. So I worked for Microsoft for about a decade and worked for Workday for about a decade.
How do you like it over there?
It was awesome. We lived in Windsor, which is where the castle is, where the monarch stays.
Okay, so you've been to France and stuff?
Yeah, we would go
Got
maybe
tips?
once a month. It's all wonderful. Like great food, so much to see. We're going back to France in September this year.
Do you speak any?
No, none. I spoke enough to order food, which is basically I think it's like que préfères tu, which means what do you prefer?
Okay.
And only got like one bad meal out of that. Got some pate. It was 80 degrees.
Que préfères tu?
Yeah, something
is what
like
I say to the waiter.
Yeah, like French people will say that that's completely wrong, but yeah, something like that.
Okay.
And just
I
kind
believe
of point
at that point
menu.
you're asking the waiter what they would like what they would think is good.
So you
the
know
same
how,
as like it in Spanish, right?
But here, you know how you'll make fun of your dad?
Yeah, for the hola.
Yeah, right.
From what I've been told by everybody,
that guy's white.
by everybody who has been to France, they say everybody speaks English.
They want to practice it, right?
But they will treat you like you're the ugly American if you walk in just like, hey, I speak English.
Yeah.
You have to give a greeting. Like you have to say bonjour. And like they'll say bonjour, you say bonjour. Like give them a quick like, hey, I'm trying a little bit.
Like even in
and then they will quickly go into English once they realize you don't really speak French. Like they appreciate that you are honoring them with saying, yes, I realize this is your language and I'm making a little effort here.
For sure. So, like even in Mexico, the cab driver I played for you that did like his impression of English women.
Yeah.
You may not recall this.
Yeah.
He was like, just make sure you've got like 5 things. Your basic hola, buenos dias, gracias, de nada, por favor. And he's like, and then from there, because he was a bartender for like 40 years. He was just like, we don't really care. He actually said, like, we don't really care if you don't speak Spanish, but you got to at least do the niceties.
Okay. So, whereas
I just assumed that was because Mexican people are awesome Whereas, I don't know, Parisians or French people might be like...
Well, you always hear what assholes French people are.
They're a little uptight.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, you're here to confirm that?
Yeah, I met enough of my French au pairs friends to know that they're assholes.
Au pair Blake.
That's right. I forgot he has a au pair girlfriend.
You hear a lot of Americans go over there, though, and they'll speak in English really slow in a French dialect, thinking somehow the French are going to be able to translate.
Just to go right back to my dad at the restaurant. Yeah, it's very similar.
Well, anyway, dude, it's great. I'm glad you had us out here. Thanks so much.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for trying to get us more subbies.
Yeah, we want to keep pushing it. So,
and thanks to Michael Copeland.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael Copeland.
Great Michael Copeland.
Can we put it across the screen
it's
here?
Right up there somewhere.
He was here at 8 a.m. this morning, setting everything up.
Damn,
beast.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. And he really loves Bono, or at least he tells us he does. All right. Well.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Yeah.
Adios, mofo.